Céad Míle Fáilte to everybody here this evening. We are standing here now in County Cork, actually in Turin-McAuliffe. Just across the way here now we have County Limerick, Turin-Agrena, which is in the parish of Killeedy. This is an area of which was once huge bogland, but now, as we can look around us here, it's mostly planted with silver fir, Norway spruce, etc. So this is the only remaining area, as far as I know, of what we'll call bogland. Some of this is raised bogland, more of it is what they call blanket bogland. That is bogs where you might have 4, 5, 6 and 7 sods deep, and then we have the shallow bog, which might be 1 or 2 sods deep, which we have here this evening and which we will show you later on cutting. Over there across the way we have the modern machine, a digger, which is scooping out the turf and throwing it into a hopper, which will mix it up and squeeze it out and lay it in rows along the bank. But still, some people cling to the old ways, and we have a group of them here now this evening, a mehel of quite a few, and here they come now. You see, going to the bog, you had no business going alone. You wanted 2, at least 2, maybe 3, or if you had 4, it was all to the good. And of course then, you also wanted the women to make the tea, or maybe give a hand if the turf was coming out too quick, if the slansman was too fast. You'd want extra help to keep the place clear. Here now we have him coming. The first man here, Jerry Shea with his slan, Willie Brother with the hay knife, some people from Newcastle West, and they'll all be wanting. We have the Miney Donovan here, Donald Connell, Pat Curtin, Paddy Linehan, John P. of course with another slan, all great slansmen. Sean O'Connell from Newcastle West, Willie Danaher, Sean Begley, Jim Clarkson, Pat Curtin, Connie Buckley, and down below we have Ita Milan and Breda Begley, who are going to make the tea for us, I hope. And coming up here then we have Donald Connell, home on holidays from New York, and with him Patrick Milan. So the idea of this video to record this work for posterity was the idea of a man, Pat Curtin, here beside me, and only for him I'd say we wouldn't have probably have bothered with this thing. So he's here now to say a word or two.
Hi Jerry. We're just here now to show how turf was cut in the olden times and at the present time. So we're looking at a bank now. We have it stripped about 3 feet wide, and we have to level the bog column. First of all now we'll start off haying, and then we'll start stripping, and then we'll start cutting.
Yeah. Before anything can be done in the bog, you see, the top has to be taken away. We call it stripping. First of all, you have to cut it with a hay knife, cut it along, and then cut it out, and then throw the sods into the what we call the bog hole. And the idea is we'll level them, you see. We'll make them as flat as possible, because if we get cut for space, we can throw the turf out there, you see. Coming up the bog now, we have Paddy Curtin, who owns this strip of bog here around. And it was formerly, of course, his father's, and before that, his grandfather's. A man that was affectionately known as Larry Davy. And at one time, during the 40s and early 50s, it was said that he probably had up to 1,000 customers here in the bog. They would have come from the lowlands, maybe Castlemahon, Killeedy, Fina, and even farther away. And at that time, I think it was said that he had about 1,000 acres here at that particular time. And that was, of course, before the era of coal, oil, gas. There was nothing that time, only turf. Here now we're starting the first job that has to be done when you go cutting turf, and that is what we call stripping. And with me here now is a man who knows this backwards, Willie Brother, and now he will give his ideas how the work was done.
Well, the first thing, of course, that happens is that the bog is stripped about anything from 2 to 4 feet wide. And it's first it is hay knifed, and then the man with the spade after that stocks off the side and is put into the bog hole, and it's levelled there, because the idea of levelling it is to make place for the turf, to spread the turf afterwards. And that's the procedure in that part of it before the cutting starts. All this top is actually about 6 inches deep this side, and it's about 1.5 feet wide, and they often take off maybe 2 sods in width. So that is the procedure now as the lads go on.
So now you have Paddy cutting with the hair knife?
Paddy Curtin is there now. He's cutting with the hair knife. That's right.
Paddy Linehan.
Paddy Linehan with the spade, and James Curtin is levelling the sods into the bog hole. That's the first thing that happens. In this particular bog now we have 2 sods deep. There'll be 2 sods. They'll be possibly about maybe 14 inches or 15 inches in length. And
the spade that Paddy is stripping with. Paddy, hold up the spade a second. That's not your ordinary garden spade at all, you see. A garden spade would be no good for that. That is what they call a smith's spade.
Abbeyfield spade.
You had fellas in Abbeyfield, you had fellas in Mount Collins that specialised in making these spades. They had a very, very, very long iron. They had to have it, you see, for to be able to go out far enough with the sod. So that trade is dying out too. I'd say there's nobody now making the spades. Unless some fella maybe, not all-timer. I think Sonny Doody in Abbeyfield, they tell me, is about the only one that would make those things now. Of course, they're not in demand either. They were in demand too for doing what we call turning T.V.s. That is for setting potatoes in the old style. But sadly, that has ended too. It's with modernisation, etc. The old ways are dying out. This is a close-up now of what we call the bog spade tour, and it was made by a guy in Abbeyfield called Sonny Doody, and Willie here now will go into greater detail about...
Well, it's a special steel. Of course, this is made out of special steel, and it's a fairly straight blade on it, and there's a bone here on the back of the spade. The idea of that is so that it would vent the sod. When you're stripping the sod, you see, if you hadn't that bone, it would be actually stick. So that bone is there in order to vent the sod. And it's sharpened with a file, usually with a file or a stone, but any one of the two would do. And the edge there's a great edge put in it. And so it has to be, because some of the sods can be very tough, and it will take great pressure, so it is very, very important to have great edge. Otherwise the man would be he'd actually be worn out in a very short time if he hadn't good edge. The spade is especially, it's only very few people that could actually make these spades to great success. To put them together so that this is the treader here and the handle has to be joined together in such a fashion that it won't slip out. It's a very solid job, and it takes a great tradesman to do that. Sonny Doody in Abbeyfield, and we had of course the Billfield, the famous Billfield spades in Mount Collins as well. So that's about as much as I can say about the spade at this particular stage.
Yeah, and of course
if you just look here now, the treader and the handle, you can see no joining. That's the work of great tradesmen. And the wide blade, the way it is done. You can't see no joining between the treadle and the handle.
So Willie was talking there about the bone up there in the middle. That was to make it, as he said, to vent it, to make it that bit easier. And some fellas call that the salmon, I think, actually. Did they, Willie?
Yes, that's right. They call it the salmon.
The salmon at the end of it. Yes. And if you notice now, the mouth of that is much wider, say, than the ordinary garden spade. Right, Paddy.
Just the way it's a lot easier to strip now with the corners. If the corners were gone, if that spade was straight here now, you couldn't strip or do anything with it. it's the corners that gauge you, and it makes it easy to work. It's no bother anyone now could work that spade in the bog.
Yeah.
I haven't any more done it.
Right. So, given kind permission for this to be done. And his guy has a hair knife there now, and again, it's not the typical hair knife. It has been extended, as you can see, and he'll say a word or two about it.
Yes, the hair knife has been extended by Johnny Duggan in Bradford, I'm informed, and it is to make the cutting easier on the back, that you don't have to bend as much, you know. Is there some more?
Oh yeah, that's fine, that's fine. It makes it easier. You see, the ordinary hair knife has a short shank in it here, you see, but if you had a short shank, your back would be bent all day, you see, and this makes it that bit easier.
No, tell us something about the riveting in.
Oh yeah, that's, well of course it's an ordinary hair knife, you see, that the guy would have for cutting hair in a bench and a hairband long ago, you see. There are plenty of them around, but you haven't any of them with the longer shank in it, you see. And then the old hair knives then again, they had only a side handle. This has what they call a cross handle in it, which makes it easier again for this type of work, stripping bog, because some of this bog can be awfully sticky, you'd say, especially in dry weather like this now. You would have the het and the fanon would start growing, you see, and the roots of it would be mighty hard, you see, and if you hadn't terrific edge, you would have your roots trying to cut it. Done the spade, and we have done the hair knife, and now we're going to do the pike, which is for throwing out the turf. And as you notice, it has 3 prongs, and Paddy here now, Paddy Linehan, will explain to us why.
Well, the fact of the 3 prongs is to see for the soft turf, to hold the turf firm, but throwing it out, you wouldn't be breaking all the turf. And they were especially down here around, how much wood.
Yeah, a 2 pike, they'd be all breaking.
Oh yeah, with the 2 prongs, see, all they'll start to be breaking. And this made it very simple for throwing out the bottom side, especially which was soft and heavier.
You could throw 2 together.
You could throw 2 at a time. The man cutting was in a hurry. I suppose after that, then they were back breakers.
How would it made generally?
I didn't know that now.
Well,
They made it.
They would be it, I said, you get those bikes anywhere.
Yeah.
Any hardware store at all.
Where are they manufactured normally, like? Michael.
I will explain again the advantages of the 3 prongs over the 2 prong pike.
Yeah, when you're sticking the side, you're less likely to break the side with a 3 prong than with 2. Like with 2, the side will go on 2 halves in spite of whatever you'll do. So with a 3 prong, it makes it very easy. You can pike 2 sides together at a time, if you like, but you can't do that with a 2 prong pike.
Yeah. And just another little implement here now. You see that? He has it very, very, very well worn. That's, as you know, I don't have to tell you what it's for. It's for edging the spade, or the slan, or the hair knife, or maybe give the prongs of the pike, if they were kind of blunt. He'd give them a rub to make them that bit sharper. If you look now what they're doing here, they're taking what we call it second stripping off. The reason being that the sod would be too long, you see. And that particular bank now, it's too short to make 2 sods of it. And it's more or less too long for 1. So they're taking what they call a second stripping off. But you see that there now, you see, that can be cut and made into sods. And it will burn quite well when it dries. So there's nothing lost really by taking the second stripping off. And it's much easier than taking the first stripping off because it's that bit softer.
Now just tell me about the way the bindle back and on it.
Oh yeah, well it's taken off the second stripping there, and while it might seem a simple job, there is an art in it. You see, you could break the handle of the spade now very easily there if you lifted it up and leaned down it. Actually you must work the whole thing off your arms. So long as it needs skill, but it also needs a fair bit of strength, you see, to be able to drive the spade through the bog without breaking the handle. You could break the handle, you see. Paddy Linehan there now with the hair knife is cutting across, you see, and you can see the advantage now of having the longer shank in the hair knife. You see, Paddy Linehan there now is not bending his back at all. He has it quite easy actually. The man with the spade hasn't it that easily because you see it's pretty hard work. you need muscle to be able to drive the spade through the bog. We have quite a good crowd here now today. I wonder if we were looking for a full day's work, would we have them all? We have quite a few people in law shoes. We have holiday makers, name it. We have the whole lot of them. Whether they'll be here tomorrow now or not, again, is another day's work. The bog, we have hay and every bit. And actually somebody was looking for tea, but the trouble is we had nothing cut yet. So, but now we're at it. Here on this lawn we have John P. O'Connell. Inside in the bog hole here with plenty of water around his ankles is Paddy Keith. As you can see, he's thrown out the sods. He's thrown them out here, and Jim Clarkson is up here on the bank. He's levelling them. You see, if he didn't level them, they'd be all up on top of one another, and they wouldn't dry that well. But by keeping them level, you see, it's a better idea, and they'll dry better. Farther down the bank, you see, seeing that we have plenty of help, we have Jerry Shea here with another slan, and we have Sean O'Connell there with another, and we have about 3 males now today, or maybe 4. But before we go any further now, this particular slan that John P. is cutting with, there's a bit of history attached to it. Come over here, John Owen, tell us.
This is a slan belonging to Michael L. Curtin. He's dead with the last 12 or 14 years. And he cut a dairy turf in his time. He was one of the men that was here on the mountains. It was a part of his father's class. So any more I haven't to say about it, only that it is still there. And it took quite time, didn't do much for a long time.
Yeah. Actually, that's what my fellows might call a modern slan, if there is such a thing as a modern slan today. The old slans had a straight handle, something like the handle of a pike there. But some fella got the idea that by putting a cross handle in it, you could have a hand at each side of the handle, and it made the work that bit easier, which it did. Although I can't talk too much about it. Yeah, it's a lot easier. I never cut much turf with a slan, although I cut enough to know what it is like, and it is mighty hard work, I'll tell you that, especially when you don't know your business. These guys know their work, of course, and it is child's play to them. And now today, you see, we have quite a few slans, and we have one starting in here, and they're cutting away. More of them will go down in maybe 10, 15 or 20 yards, and they'll all cut away, and with the help of God, we'll have a lot of it cut for 12 o'clock tonight. And then the man that was looking for the tea, yes, Jerry Shea's down below there now, he's starting again. Right, as you can see, we have plenty of help, and we've moved to a different part of the bank, and these guys are cutting here away now. We have Jerry Shea on the slan, Billy Danaher here is throwing it out, and Paddy Curtin is above the bank levelling it. And you see, it makes the work that bit quicker. Willie Bruder now, man better versed than I am, will...
Well, you see, you can see now, huh? You can see now how the turf is being cut. The slansman is very important because he has to gauge the actual size of the sod. Because if the sods are too big, of course, it will be much harder to dry them. Maybe they mightn't dry at all. So it is a very important job, the cutting of the turf. And he actually starts off, he gives a stab to the sod, and then he throws it back out, and the man with the pike, he throws it out in the bank. And now, sometimes the slan will collect a bit of the hairs of the turf, like, and the ribs of the turf. So he has to stab the actual slan then into the turf in order to clean it off. And the man
outside got tired, and he's got...
Yeah, the man that takes the turf is called branching the turf, actually. It's actually branching the turf, that's the name for it. And he throws it out, and the man outside, then the third man, Pat Milan, he's actually spreading the turf now, and they spread it very close in order that they are able to put as much as possible on the bank. And there's no two sods on top of one another, so that the sun and the wind and all get a chance of drying it. And That is the procedure.
Yeah. Wait a minute now, Willie. I must ask you another question. Before we go to that, we have two women who are having a go at it. They said it's only a practice run with Breed Begley with the Slan, a flaming Slanswoman, and Ita Milan, her sister, is piking it out. Under the strict orders of Jim Clarkson, who's a very hard taskmaster. He wants it done right. But anyway, Willie now here will tell us another story. He cut here during the war years, and he will tell us of his experiences.
Well, during 1948 and 49, I spent the summers here on the bog that time. Myself and my late brother-in-law, Martin Linehan. And we actually cut in very close to this place. And at that time, we actually stayed in the bog. We had to camp out here because the journey home was too much. That time we had no motor car, of course. It was all horse and car, and by the time we'd arrive home, we'd be very tired after our heavy day's work. So we got the idea, and we built a caravan, a makeshift caravan, and we lived here in the bog during the cutting and the season, saving the turf. And we were able to do a great day's work then because we had a very long day, and there was plenty of hard work.
Yes, sir. But at that time, Willie, now, wouldn't you get... Sure, you were putting down about 14 hours, 15 hours a day, I suppose.
Of course we were, maybe from about 8 o'clock in the morning until to be just dusk that evening.
Yeah.
And that would be maybe 9 or 9:30.
Yeah.
We definitely put in about maybe up to 14 hours.
That was a long day, but of course, you had the advantage of, if he went home, he'd have to go home in a horse and car or something.
To go home in a horse and car, and the journey would be 9 or 10 miles in a rough road, and we'd be very tired. So we got the idea of staying here.
Yeah.
And it was a great idea, and it was very successful. We had a lot more turf. Actually, that one year anyway, we did cut 35 lorries of turf and saved it. And that's a fact in 1940.
Right, Willie, we have Paddy Keefe above here now is after resurrecting some treasure. And actually what it is a horseshoe. A horseshoe. You see, in the 40s and 50s, of course, the turf was done out with horses, and this horse lost the shoe, and he was a big horse too, wasn't he? He was a big horse, and of course the weight of the iron, you see, it sunk and sunk and sunk and sunk away, and it was down now about how many feet, Paddy?
It was down a foot.
It was down maybe a foot and a half of that way, and I suppose it would still keep sinking. So, and actually it's a fresh shoe, but the trouble, as one of the men said here now, if the slant struck this thing, the guy would have to stop anyway and put up edge again, because this would turn up the edge, of course. You see, it's steel. Yeah. And the other man must have got tired. We have Patrick Milan now, a retired creamery manager, now at the Slan. I'm sure he cut a lot of turf in his younger days, and he's quite good at it, actually. You see, in the old days, they took terrific pride in any job they were doing, whether it was cutting turf or turning tie boards, no matter what they were at, they took terrific pride in it. And Patrick now will tell us a word or two about his experiences.
What's John Patrick? Well, my experience isn't great. It's going back nearly 60 years, much here surprise. But I spent very little time in the bog because, well, I was sent away to school, etc. And then when we got fixed up in life, I used to only come home on holidays. But I always remembered the first day I went to the bog. And I was a very young lad going to Ashford School, where our announcer here, Jury Ford, rather. So, the one thing I can remember about it, I thought the dinner would never come to us. Of course, young lads don't know the hunger catches them much quicker than it would the old fellas. But by God, when he came anyway, I was relieved. But I'll never forget that day.
Yeah.
But it was a pleasure to be in with the old fellas, because in that time, labour was very plentiful, and as such,
The old fellas had no mass and young lads. They would say they were only coming in their way. But however, I can say it like that. I had a trial in it, but I suppose it helped to encourage me to go away and keep at what I was doing then. That was get a career out of it.
Yeah. Just another thing there now, I see Billy Danner here. For this thing, he has the handkerchief in his head, you see, because fellas would get sunburned, you see. They'd be at it day after day after day after day, and the handkerchief, of course, would be great protection, especially for fairhead, like Willie is, you see. And that was another part of the thing. I see another man down here now, Connie Buckley, and he's giving expert advice there to somebody on something or other. But Patrick was just saying there now about when he was come home from college, he was delighted. And I know well, when I came home from the training college, I used to love the bog. You see, it was an awful change from the cities of Dublin, the smoke and this, that and the other. And I still love the bog, even though the work might be a bit hard, but still I think it's a fantastic place. You have this freedom, clear air, the lark singing, it's beautiful really. The change of team again here now. On the lawn we have Jim Clarkson. In the back hall we have Pat Curtin, and outside, drenching it or spreading it, we have James Curtin. Jim here has cut an awful lot of turf, and we'll ask him a word or two of his experiences. So Jim.
Well, I'll tell you, 1929 I came back from Newtown, and with 2 old men, and we slept above the steeple, and we spent 6 days cutting turf. We cut 5 loads of turf out of it. But we knew nothing about the bog. One fellow would strip it without knife in it. And the man said to him, "You're doing that wrong." What he said to him is, "He's trying to tell me how to strip bog you are," he said. Yeah. But he wouldn't long at all. They called the man to show him how to do it. Yeah. You see, that's education, they call it. You're good at that. Yeah. But then I'm cutting turf every year since.
You're thriving it anyway, Jim, I'll tell you that.
Well, the machine, you know, Jerry, that we've gone modern.
We are gone modern, but still.
And I tell you, when we get old, it's handy.
It is handy, but it is good to cling to the old way.
It is good, it is very good.
Yeah, he just mentioned there, above there, we can't see the steeple now for the trees, but there's a place above that, it's the highest point in this particular area, Malacharerk. It's 1,300 feet high. There in front of us we have Malachanish, which is about 1,200. But Malacharerk, of course, is in County Cork. We're in County Cork now, although we could throw a stone into County Limerick. But there'll be no trouble.
That's good, that's great.
We have the man on the lawn, the man on the back hole, and we have 2 above in the bank levelling it, because the bank is getting a bit short, you see, and it has to be spread properly. And also, where the sods are longer and they're taking up more room. So the man outside is very important to keep it right, so that it will dry properly. Right, as you can see there now, the sods are lying flat. If we were short of space, you see, they'd give them a kind of a tilt. Some fellas make out that they dry better, you see, if they kind of put them somewhat like that, you see now, if they gave a bit of a slope with them. And you'd pack more of them in, of course, but then again, the ones underneath won't be drying that well, but you'd have to do it if you were short of space, you see. Especially if you were in what we call high bog, where you would have maybe 5, 6 or 7 or 8 sods. This is what we call once a turf now, and you don't need that much help, you see. But 2 men would be no good in what we call high bog to you. The guy in the bog hole would get destroyed. He'd get completely destroyed if the water came in, you see. It would be flopping down in his pants, and his clothes would get all wet. So what they do is they try to throw sod across it, you see, and the sods that are falling, they'd land down on that particular sod as you see there, so there'd be no splash. I mean, you have to do these things, or if you didn't, you'd get completely messed up. But those sods now are awfully long, as you can see, and they're taking up an awful lot of ground, so you have to have plenty of guys outside to keep them level. there's a knack to everything, and that work is coming very easily to him now if you watch him. He's just turning the pike and the sods are falling off him. You see, he more or less hasn't to use any muscle work, you see. He's at his ease now working there, because of course he has the hang of it, you see. He just turns the pike and the sods fly off it out along. If Greenhorn was at that now, he'd be working much harder, and he mightn't be doing the job half as well, you see. You know that run out the sods now, Pat, and it seemed to be coming very easy to you. You seem to be at your ease somehow or other. Not saying you were idle now, but could you tell us why?
You know, just when you're sticking the sod right, and when you're just leaving go, the sod to turn the pike quick, and the sod slides off it. No pressure, no bother at all. If you didn't do that, first thing you'd break the sod, and you'd break, you'd tear no wrist and out.
Yeah. Another thing there now, we were saying about blisters. We're looking at your hand there now. There doesn't seem to be any blister there, you see, because those hands are tough, you see.
Never had it.
He never had blisters, he says.
What's the secret?
Well, I suppose constant work. Your hands get tough. Do you see from? I know very well if I was at that, the blisters would be rising in my hands. I know quite well.
I never got him.
But Pat has...
Never got it.
Yeah. Oh, blisters in his hand there now, as we notice. And whether it's because he has tough hands, or whether he has the art of spreading or working the weapon is a thing I don't know. But it's probably a combination of both. But he's well able to handle the pike, as we see there now, and the sods are flying off it, you see.
Yeah, I could say
yeah.
I could say from there. Well, if you catch the spade right, and keep a good balance, you'll never get a blister. I never get a blister in my life. We with the pike, hand, a slan, or spade. I need a four. Never get a blister. Okay, John.
Cut his hands there a while ago, and they're as tough as leather. He hasn't a blister or anything. But there's a man here now, and he does seem to have a blister or two in his hands. And is it because he has soft hands? Or I would say that he's probably not used to weapons, you see. He's more a truck driver, you see.
Not used to this type of work. I get fat an old day to help him out. He gave me a day later on again footing, so we worked a bit harder for today, and having those soft hands, they didn't stand up. They're okay though.
Yeah, they'll do him no harm anyway. Yeah. We have a man here now with this lawn, and he has given the turn to somebody else, Billy Danher, so he'll say a word or two to us.
Well, I spent years gone back, 19, I suppose 44, I was in the bog with the father after nursing anyway, and I had to brinch the turf out of the bog hole and spread it as well. Whenever we had one after the other, left and right, I had.
Yeah.
And then a couple of weeks after I had to go on, put it all standing.
Were you able to spread the left and right?
Left and right, yeah.
Some fellas haven't able only one way leg.
I could do it left and right, then I could show you that.
Great advantage to be able to do that, wasn't it?
Well, with one side like you had to be able to do it, bring out the back hole, left and right like, put it one side after the other, but it was all practice, don't you know?
Yeah. The fellow who was able to spread with the left and right, he had an awful advantage over the guy who was only one-sided, as we like the hurler, the very same as the hurler.
Well, if there's high bogged in, of course, you only put it up in the bank.
Yeah.
And the man outside, maybe you had 2 or 3 up in the bank then, if you had 3 sods. You had 3 up on the bank, like one passing out to the other.
Yeah.
One top of the bank out to the one in the middle, and the other one further out.
Yeah, these guys here have made fantastic progress. They have their bit cut out. We have John P. O'Connell cutting, Paddy Keefe throwing it out, Miney O'Donovan up on the bank, spreading it, and we have a return Yank here now, here alongside us. Come on, Yank here now, who spent plenty of days in the bog as a young fella, and it's just happened that he's home on holidays, so his impressions.
Oh, I think it's wonderful. You know, living in New York is completely different than this, and you look over there and you see the sun over the mountain. It's fantastic. And as far as the fellas working here, I knew a lot of them, you know, years ago, and a lot of them never spent a day in the bog either. Just like myself, you know, you just come on holidays, you know, and making the tea was the big thing.
Yeah, we'll make the tea now shortly.
Right,
yeah.
Yeah, funny enough, they have, I think, a day in the bog, and they come out from Ireland.
Yeah.
And they have all this, No, mostly a day in the bog, and they showed you what turf was, because people didn't know what turf was, and they showed you what moonshine was, what's the name of it? Putin, yeah, right, yeah.
Yeah.
So it was, they shipped it all the ways out from Ireland, you know.
Yeah.
From
That was great. Right, Donald, thank you. Right, Willie Broder, we'll give you an assessment of what's done, and whether he's satisfied or not, we'll see.
No, I think that's a great day's work done now today. Well, it's not a very long day, but it's a nice day's work done. And usually there'd be about a load of tough put in a good day's work. And long ago they had a certain measurement for that. They used to call it a quarter of tough. That quarter of tough would be actually a big load of tough. And I think it would be actually 4 high and 8 foot wide. Long. I think the tough that size would be a quarter. It would be a great. And they've done a great job. You can see all along there now. The tough is spread on the bank, and it's also being spread on, as I say, the bog hole. The bog hole will be leveled out, and the tough is spread, as you can see. And the bank is kept nice and straight, so it will be okay for next year. And that's about you can see now, as you move up the bank, there's more than one, there's 2 sods and maybe possibly 3 sods further up the bank. And then it runs away down until you get into maybe 1 sod. It all depends on the slope of the bog and all that. And the turf is of great quality. It's black turf, of course, here. But in other parts now, you get brown turf, which wouldn't have the same quality. It would be good to light, all right, but wouldn't have the lasting power in the fire. And of course, the bog itself is thousands of years old. And this is a very nice bog, actually. Very nice quality turf in this bog.
An hour ago that way, Paddy Keeves rooted out a horseshoe up here. And he got the second one actually. But look at what we're after finding here now. Some kind of a steel plate. And that bank has been cut for years. How it got in there, because it was out there, say, maybe 10 or 20 feet. How it got in there, we don't know. But John P. will cut away now, and we'll take it out, and we'll see. Right, John, cut away. We'll take it out, and we'll see what type of stuff is in it.
What is that supposed to be?
It's surely that, how many years is this thing there? It's sort of interesting that we have something.
How much does a bog grow a year, maybe in 100 years? Is it about how much?
I wonder what is it? It's not. It's a plate. It's stainless steel. Stainless steel, however it got in there. Because as we say, the bog is being cut.
No, I do not know.
You see, you can see the shape of it there now. You can see the shape of it there in the bog. We'll, it's not the hub. Some say it's the hubcap of a motor car, but it couldn't be. So there was no car. But actually, when that's cleaned, we'll clean it and we'll see, is there any markings in it or anything like that? To another man whose trade has practically gone. This man was a harness maker, but of course his roots are here in Turinagrana, and he has spent many days in the bog. So we'll ask him for his experience.
My experience where?
Either in the bog or any place you like.
Well, I used to come up to the bog here with my cousins some years, from Newcastle West, and I often spent a week here. And we'd go to the bog in the morning about 8 o'clock and return about 9 o'clock at night. So,
no trade union outdoors?
Oh, there was no trade unions at that time. 10 and 12 hours a day. Of course, I was used to working those hours at home when I was working with my father at the harness making. And then we turned over to the hurley ball. We were hurley ball makers. And we made them for all over Ireland. especially Elvery's of Cork and Dublin. We used to make them by the gross. And then when the harness making was finished, my father died. I carried on for another 8 or 10 years, and I saw that the trade was going, and I turned my attention to Ahanish. And I got a position in the catering business with PJ Carroll, and I was there for about 9 years. So I just retired from it in 1991.
Well, we wish you a happy retirement.
Okay, thanks very much.
Right, it's heavy, you know, it's heavy. It's heavy. It's stainless steel, I suppose, and I suppose if we had it cleaned properly, we'd probably be able to come up with some bit of writing or other in it. But it's a heavy bit of material, whatever it is. Jim Barry, a man from the agricultural department, he loves the bog, actually. He loves cutting turf. And as we see here now, he's not a bad slawnsman at all, you know. I'd say if he bit of practice now, he'd make a great slawnsman. Jim, a word or two. Come on. Come on. Actually, he's one of my past pupils, although I must admit, though, I didn't show him how to cut turf in case you think I made a bad job of it. Come on. Come on, Jim.
Oh, Jerry, how things?
This is Jim here, Jim Barry.
Yes? It's a great evening out here this evening, Jerry.
Fantastic.
And
yeah, you spend a lot of time in the bog, Jim, for that.
Well, every year, but I haven't cut it by hand or by this lawn. I think that usually as your type of a method, we use the new machine, and we spend a few weeks here every year, and it is very enjoyable.
Sure, it's as good as Ballybunnan.
Every bit is good.
Weather.
Every bit is good.
This now would be ideal weather here in the bog.
Ideal, sure, ideal.
Really ideal.
It is very dry this year, isn't it?
Oh, sure, the ground is very dry.
Very dry.
Yeah.
And you've a fine crowd here this evening anyway.
Yeah, sure, it is fantastic.
Yeah.
Thanks, Jim.
Thank you.
As you can see, there's a lovely job done there. It's finely levelled, it's spread, as they say, breaching it was in the old days we used to call it. But that will dry very easily now because the bank is dry and it's level, you see, there's none of the sods torn up on top of another, and the ground is reasonably dry, so there'll be no great problem in footing it and getting it out, I would say. But if you look around you there now, to the side over there, you can see a het, or heather as we call it. This has become increasingly scarce, and with the loss of the heather, also the grouse have gone. The Irish name for the grouse is carc freach, you see, and that is the heather hen. The grouse lived on the heather. And with the forestry coming up, you see, when the forestry grows, it covers off everything, and then you have nothing in the floor of the forest, only needles, pine needles or spruce needles or whatever they are. So the poor old grouse has nothing to eat, and here around now the grouse has almost become extinct. There are only very few places now where you could see grouse. And of course, with the advent of the turf machines, you have an awful lot of people in the bog, and the grouse doesn't like too many people around. He's a very shy bird, so he has no place to go. But here around now, we could say the grouse is practically extinct, which is an awful pity because they were a beautiful bird. We had what turf we intended we would cut, and it's pretty well cut and finely spread and everything, but of course we're missing one vital ingredient in the day, and that is something to eat. The women are cutting turf, and they were talking, so now we expect them to do the necessary things and to give us a whale of a meal, with the fire lighting with the last hour or two, and the kettle is boiled, and so all that's needed now is the whatever we have, sandwiches. In the old days we used to have eggs and cold meat and all to this bacon, I suppose. Yeah. So we'll go over now to the fire and we'll have the tea.
No, we'll take a break, so lads. Right, stick a...
I don't like leaving anything on the way.
Will I bring out the tripod, John? Now we come to the most important part of the day's work, and that is the tea. As you can see, we have the fire lighting. The kettle is on it. The kettle is boiled. I hope they didn't let the smoke get into the tea. But then again, in the bog, you don't mind whether the smoke is in the tea or not. It's eaten and drank deliciously anyway. And we've bogdeal, we've name it, we've plenty turf. This is yeah. You know, and as you'll notice now, they've stuck the pikes in the ground, they've knives, everything. It's the, I mean, if you left them thrown on the ground, a guy could walk into them and get a part of a pike and ankle or thing like that. So, and of course, to keep it clean, but all the old fellas were mighty exact, you know. They wouldn't like to see you letting an implement thrown around. So they'd make you stick them in the ground for safety and also to keep them clean. They made sandwiches, so we're all ready now for the eating of a beautiful feast. The two ladies have done a fantastic job in this, for which we are eternally grateful, of course. Without the tea, without the sandwiches, nothing done. Pick up the guy over with the digger over the top. Oh yeah. As we can see, we have our job done, but as you notice over there on the top of the hill, the guy with the digger is still working away. He'll probably keep at it while he has light. You see, they're very, very expensive machines, so they have to keep going while the place is dry. And while the work is to be done, they'll take advantage of it.
Here, Jerry. You want one in each hand.
I was here two keys. I was here the cost of it.
Come on, check another one. Where did your pocket come? Right, for the tea. Ja, stoppen där själv. Och så där.
Okej, Marvin.
Nej, Hepson.
Hej, kom drop här. Ja, bara det är det.
Johnny won't eat here. There's no sandwich. There's no spare in the box. Line it. Line it.
Keeping the certain time of that.
Mr. Moore?
That? Huh?
No. Are y'all happy? Have you all been here? The wind behind you, what do we do here? There's nothing on this evening.
We'll have to video them while they're cutting you. The feel off.
There's nothing on this evening, Sean. It's gone on over here.
Pint of port would be great now, lads, wouldn't it?
One place to be over.
Oh, no. I don't pint, yeah, like After all the dust.
More tea, right?
More tea, that's fine. Anyone coming here to
I have. You want this beer, Judy?
Yeah, you legit. Now we have eaten, we had lovely tea and lovely sandwiches, and we did a reasonably good day's work. We've stripped the bog, we've PNF'd it, and we've cut it, and we've spread it, and we've done a... But now, we may have forgot to mention one particular thing, and that is, to make the work somewhat easy, you must have edge, and you must have terrific edge. And there's an old Irish saying, Ní muil fire ach is muil mór a vegane, which means it doesn't take long to put up edge, but it's a great delay if you haven't got edge. So now we have two men here that'll edge. Right. We'll put up a bit of edge, but first of all we'll have a word or two with Willie is going to edge the spade off of us, which is an art in itself. Some people in the old days, some people were great to put up edge, others couldn't put up edge at all.
It takes a good liar, you know, to put up edge.
Willie Bruder says it takes a man that's well able to tell lies. He's good. Although Paddy Keefe says it takes a wicked man to be able to put up edge. Which one of them is right now, I don't know. But Willie has edge here now, and you know what? To nearly shave him. What he's doing now is he's just straightening the edge. Straightening the edge. You see, it's a knot.
That's in the centre, and you edge out.
You see the way he's doing it? Lovely, that's
a good base to it, say that.
Yeah, he has a fantastic job made of edging the spade.
That's right.
Yeah, yeah.
No,
The slan, who lets the slan for us? Paddy here. Paddy Keefe now is going to show us how to edge the slan. Again, it's an art in itself. You see, he's starting here in the corner and he's edging out. Why he does that, I don't know, but I know very well he has an idea for doing it. Paddy was saying it takes a wicked fella to be able to put up edge properly. If that's the case, Paddy will be able to put up no edge because he's a fine, grave, easy-going kind of a gentleman. A few slight rubs and he has the job done, you see. What he's doing now, he's just straightening it. The fellow now would be working with that, he'd have a fine, easy day because he'd have great edge and it would be easy in his hands. Yeah? No, almost. But before we go, we'll get a word or two from each individual here. And we'll start here with Pat Cutton.
Yeah, I just want to say that I'm around here since 1950. I remember Martin Lynn and Willie Brother staying in the caravan up there. It must be 1949.
Right, then. William?
There's great changes here since I happened to be here. It is 48 years ago since I stood in this bog. And now with the trees and all, you'd hardly know the place at all.
William?
Well, I think it's the healthiest place anybody could be.
Right. Paddy?
A great place for eating here back in Lango. It's one of the places that you would eat it.
Carney?
A great place and drink a couple of pints after.
Well, we might have no pints, but we have plenty of the bacon anyway. Happy.
Well, no, I'd like to say something about the mountains, especially the Heather Mountains. They were a great place for the old gentry to shoot over. And not far from here, there's a lodge where the old gentry used to come here long ago shooting grouse. Well, I have very happy memories of the mountains. I travelled, I know every nook and corner of it, because I would come here grouse shooting. When the gentry moved out, the shooting was free to everyone. Well, here down back, you can see part of the forestry. There were the tree planted here in those times. The first time I laid foot in it here after grouse was 1924. And whereas now you have approximately you have about 5,000 acres of forestry here. That finished the grouse shooting. Just to give you an idea, like how good it was. I had people, I was in people company who shot over grouse over in Scotland, and it seems that it was supposed to be the world's best, but I can tell you that you couldn't compare with the grouse shooting here. And to give you an idea of the numbers, there was one day 2 brothers, and I didn't do very much of it because I was away, but they lived only about 5 or 6 miles from here, and they would come like when they could afford to take part of a day off. But there was one half day I heard them say, it was a red letter day in it, and both of them, they shot 39 grouse here.
Yeah, that was fantastic, wasn't it?
39, but there was another year then, they kept an account of the number they killed. One of them got 98 and the other 106. But there was, well, you have Paddy Lynn in here, and I remember his father did so, no, but his grandfather did some shooting here also. We met him on a few occasions, but they used do very much of it. But now, since it was planted, there's scarcely a grouse in the mountain because there's no feeding ground for them.
Yeah.
So I have very happy memories, but I have sad memories, like to see the grouse haven't disappeared.
Oh yes, well of course that is sad, really. Right, Jim, yeah, one word before we go.
To just I did have a lot to say about this place, but I always worked hard here.
And you enjoyed it?
I'd be glad it is.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have the health for the year if I wouldn't come out here.
Oh yeah, James, come on. Right, Jim.
Well, Jerry, I'm a newcomer here. I'm only coming out with 7 or 8 years, which is the most enjoyable and refreshing place to come in the summertime, and I enjoy it and enjoy the company here, and enjoy it for a few more years at help.
Well, I have seen 3 generations of the Courtons here down through the years. Paddy and his father and his grandfather. And that's since the time of the emergency. 40 years ago or more, that's a lot.
Yeah, right, my name.
Well, Jerry, I must congratulate you on what you have done here today. I think it is wonderful, but we're missing one thing. I thought we'd have hot whiskey here.
Right, the next day with help of God. Done.
I really enjoyed myself, and I really thank you for inviting me here today.
Oh yeah.
Thank you.
Right.
Well, it was a pleasure to make tea for the Mint this evening.
Right. Read.
I really enjoyed my evening in the bog.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, of course, George, we say we have finished. Actually, we've only started. You see, the turf is to be footed. It might have to be footed twice, maybe 3 times, and we'll have to draw it out, and we'll have to maybe draw it out in bags, or we'll draw it out somewhere anyway, and then we'll have to stack it outside on the road. So, with the help of God, if we have a fine year, we won't be long at it, but we could be here for a long time if it's a bad year. Have we covered everything? Will it?
I think what we should do now is, I think we'll all make for Bradford now, and we'll go to the widows and we'll have a few pints.
Yes, no, not a bad idea at all. Not a bad idea at all. But the ladies have there said that we'll have something hot the next thing. It's pretty cold here now this evening. It's a northeastern wind, and it's pretty cold. So the coon of there, be me the rash rish, a canukat namona, so good day, Shane.
Don't forget to give them.
Yes, Gorev Mila Mahagev. Aita August Vida, Gorev Mila Mahagev, Asun K, Agasas, Nekapari, Vishig Gahuntuk. August Gorev Mila Mahagev Golev. August the Kun of Day, Bemi Darash, Young Kokisha, no Marchen, August Bemi de Kanukut Namona, August Godishan, Godeship Slon. Tommy the Rash, Buikas Moorla Dia, Con Creek Cor, Aronober, Hosemer, Ilar, me, and Brehiv. We are back today to continue the work, or really to finish the work that we started on the 9th of May. And an awful cold day it was, and we're here now to finish the footing. And we have a big mahal of men here. We have 4 of them here now that are coming on to do some footing for us. As you can see, the most of it has been footed, but just a bit here now that was rather wet, and we weren't able to foot it, so we'll finish it today now like coon of day. Then, when we've that done, we'll have to re-foot it. That is, any of it that isn't dry enough, we'll have to go back over it and foot it again. And in footing turf, you see, there is a trade. You must foot the turf as it grew, they say, in the bog, you see. You must put one side down and the soft side up. If you didn't, you see, the soft side would soak all the water and you'd be worse off than ever. Right, also coming along here now, we have a mahal. Some of them coming to work, more of them to look on, I would say. And also we have the horse and carts. The horse and carts won't be needed, of course, until the turf is ready to pull it out. So, however long that will take, we don't know. Sometimes turf can be drawn out and raked even without footing. But this year, it started off awfully wet, you see, so there was a big delay. Actually, the bogs were awfully wet and soft. You couldn't walk them, not a mind carry a horse or tractor. So, September now has come exceptionally good, and the footing is almost done. Most of the turf is out of the bog, and all we have now is this bit here, these guys here. Look, lads, you'll have to work harder than that. I mean, when they have finished, you see they're inside, if I turn my back, you see they'll do nothing. So we'll have plenty of help anyway to re-foot it when it is all footed. Right, folks, come on. Right. We have old and we have not so old, all willing to give a hand in some shape or form. Right, Joe, please, a word or two. He will give us some of excellent knowledge now on this. Right.
My first encounter with turf was in 1926, exactly 70 years ago, in Horns Bog in Lochfodder, alongside where George was born. We cut 3 slan of turf every year and drove it home. My next encounter with turf was here in Paddy Curtin's Bog. And we are here today to finish off a job that was started some time ago. So that's a big change. It was all cut by the slan in 1926, but now the machine has taken over and it makes it much easier. Turf is no longer footed, it is only just turned a lot of the time. We are footing it here today because it's late in the year and the turf is wet and it has to be done a couple of times.
Jim McAuliffe, you footed turf long ago, I'm sure.
Well, indeed, as I did all my lifetime, footing it. Because I knew what a sort of turf was. Yeah. That's what I did. It was a hard job in the back.
Yeah.
Put the strip in and the hair knife, the spade and hair knife, would way harder.
Oh, that would be, I'm sure.
That would.
Yeah.
The cutting it.
Yeah.
That.
Yeah.
That was the hardest of it.
Yeah. Yeah. This as we know, is machine turf. It wasn't cut with the slan.
Yeah.
So some guys said slan turf was better for the trust or not, I don't know. But these guys are working pretty good. I think they're better than the last bunch we had in, you know, somehow or other. But yeah, we have some young hands here now footing it also. Right, Franz, come over here. What do you think of this turf cutting job, turf footing job?
It's okay.
He says it's okay, but then again, you see, his back is short, you see, and he hasn't to go far down. Jim is up some his experience of footing turf and getting wet.
It was one of the hardest jobs I ever did, and it was a course in the back. You'll be crippled for the week afterwards.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he says that's the shin. He said all he got out of footing turf was a pen.
Remember the you give Sullivan our cutting turf?
Yeah.
You wanted it cut straight,
yeah.
square, and polished.
Yeah.
Remember that? This man was in the bog of 1946.
Yeah. Yeah, Jim Jackson was here in 39 footing turf. I think most of it is footed now, so we'll get some other body to give us a bit of their to the ladies to foot the turf. Actually, in the past, during the war years, the women footed quite a lot of the turf here, and some women were supposed to be far better than the men at footing turf. And you know, some of these are pretty good at it. Yeah. During the war years, you see, all the men were cutting and stripping, hay-knifing and doing everything. So footing turf was considered light work, and that was left to the ladies. Right.
This is lovely. Pardon?
Did you ever before foot turf?
No.
Never before?
No, and I see it.
You're quite good for a beginner, I'll tell you that. You should keep it up.
I will do.
Right.
I want to make just one comment.
Right.
Long ago, men never footed turf. It was beneath their dignity. It was all women that footed.
Yeah.
And they just charged so much a slan to foot it. 5 bob a slan, and a slan would be about 10 horse loads.
Yeah.
And it was all women that second footed. All turf was first and second footed, which was all women. A man never footed turf.
Yeah. Yeah. A slan of turf there was considered when a good man would cut in a day.
3 men.
Yeah, 3 together cut. One cutting, one in the buckle and one splitting. Yeah.
Wrenching and spreading.
Yeah. Milan, I welcome him to the bog. This is a man that's been many a day here in the bog, and he might tell us something about it.
I can't tell you anything to tell the truth.
Why?
He's so long since I was in the bog.
Yeah, yeah. Right, so, right. You remember coming out here in bad weather and getting...
That was years and years ago.
I know it was, yeah. Yeah.
Your Matthew bog.
Yeah. Yeah. Right, so, George. Here now today has some experience of cutting, footing or working in the bog. Although the lady here said she never before footed turf. But now here with me, I have Father Curtin, native of Rockchapel, and I'm sure he'll be able to tell us how to foot turf.
I mightn't be able to tell you how to foot turf, but I did a little bit of it in my time back in Danes Mountain outside the Rock with my father and brothers and sisters. I always tried to avoid it if I could, but I never able to manage to do that. But I spent a few hard days there, and which was necessary for the heat and all that.
Yeah.
But it was just hard work.
Oh yes, thank you, Father. It was very, very, very hard work. And of course, I'm sure you were getting very, very little reward for this.
Very little reward. Very little. A blessing and a prayer, I suppose. That's about it. But sure, that's all right too.
Well, you were getting enough to eat, and that was, yeah, yeah.
Good.
Again, it's been many, many, many days in the bog over the years, and he might tell us a word or two about it.
Well, I suppose it's 45 years ago I started first, and I couldn't for sale that time. I cut it down there, lorries for sale.
With the slan, of course, that time.
Oh, the slan that time, Jerry. And we sell it for £9 a lorry load. A big lorry load sold for £9.
But that was well earned.
And a job to get it for it.
Yeah.
That time.
Oh, it was indeed.
Was, yeah. A job to get it that time. And I was slan 120 years to blow in the car.
That's an ordinary straight handle slan.
No, the T1.
You put a T?
Well, it was a straight from, but I put a T handle in it.
Yeah. Which did you prefer?
Well, for the tough bog, the T1, because there was more power.
Yeah.
But for the one side, it made no difference.
Yeah. I'm sure you stand inside from school to foot the turf.
Huh? Oh, yes. And glad to be kept inside.
I wonder which was the best, the school or the bog?
Oh, the bog.
Yeah.
The bog.
Yeah. I had the yard one time told of the teacher said to this young buck, where were you on such a day, and on such a day, and on such a day? And the young fella answered, I was cutting, footing, and ran out turf, sir.
Yeah.
Did that happen to you?
Yeah, that happened to me, Jerry.
Yeah.
It did indeed. Yeah.
Right, Pat Curtin, now, please.
Pat Curtin. I remember Mick Maloney here, must be 40 years ago, stripping bog. And when Mick was finished at the stripping, you wouldn't know the difference between the bog hole and the bank. The saws everyone would put in as they grew there. I remember that, and we'll never forget that about Mick Maloney.
Yeah. That was in the stipping of the bog. There was a great trade in throwing the stipping sods and throw them flat. The idea of throwing them flat was when you were drawing out the turf, the sod wouldn't run before the wheel, but let it be car or horse car or tractor. That's just it. Yeah, well acquainted with the bog. And here now is Kitty Fitzpatrick from Dartford.
Well, the footing is hard enough to get used to it. You're pain your back for a while, but you'll get used to it after a while.
Yeah, and you footed a lot of it, I'm sure. Did you? What about?
Now and again.
A share of it now and again.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tis a hard work.
Oh, it is. But then again, when the weather is fine and the bogs are dry, it is nice to be here, isn't it?
It is. Yeah, peaceable.
Oh yeah, the peace and quiet and tranquility. Although we have a noisy kind of a bunch here today now. But still it is. I think they have the footing done now, and the next thing is where our catters, wherever they are. In footing again, they weren't quite happy with what the other bunch did, so they said they'd have to redo it and so on like that. We have Jim Clarkson here, Mick Maloney, and his wife, of course, Connie Buckley. John Elligan is singing a song for us inside there, and Martin Mulcahy.
That's right, and the post was all part of it. They'll be singing along, wouldn't they?
Oh yeah, if you had 4 or 5 in the bog and they're singing, some other one would take it up in some other part of the bog, and it would often pass the time away. Joe, come over here, please. John Elligan. Joe, come here. Come here. Joe, come on. Come on. We'll do it. Mas, come on. Right, finish that song. Right, I'm working. Come on. I'm working.
Well, no. Jesus. May God be with you, Ireland, and the old bog road. My feet are here in Broadway, this cold and perish more, and all the road that came there, the few winter I was born, and I would like to ramble back and do the things of old. May God be with you, Ireland, and the old bog road.
Did there any other? We have Martin Mulcahy, a man well acquainted again with all to do with turf.
I really know nothing about turf.
Yeah, but I mean this year now was a pleasure.
It was. This is the second crop of turf we're footing here now.
Yes.
So that'll tell you how good the year was.
And it often happened that the turf was left in the bog.
Very often. And it will be no good then for the next year.
Oh yeah.
The frost they'll come and take it.
Yeah. And but of course I suppose with the machine on, with tractors, and is it somewhat easier?
It is always done out now nearly with the double wheels and the tractors. You get it out.
They made life easier.
They did. Much easier.
Yeah. Yeah, and with the machine, I suppose you need any fair weather you need to foot it all.
We don't foot it at all, you know, only turn it.
Oh well, they made life easier anyway. Right, Mike. Here we are now again. We have the turf footed and ray footed, and the experts say that it's fit to draw it out. And here long now we have 2 horses and 2 cars to draw out this turf. They're coming along here now. They're drawing it out in what we call butt cars, but of course modern days they've drawn it out with tractors. But we're talking now as it was cut, say, maybe in the 50s. And as you can see now, there's a horse coming, a fine horse is. These 2 horses would be what we call Irish draft horses too. And what they have is butt cars. And the butt cars they have are the old type of car, you see, with the banded wheel. And we often ran into problems with the banded wheel in the bog, you see. Often the band would come off the wheel. When the band came off, you were in real trouble. Or worse still, if the linchpin, as we call it, the thing there keeping in the wheel, if that fell out, the wheel fell out, and we were in real trouble. We had plenty help out today to fill this turf, but of course, again, see now the second horse and car are coming in. This horse is also an Irish draft, and he's a jet black horse. This fella here is what we call a bat-eater. These are belong to a local man, Jerry Shea. He uses them mainly for pulling timber out of the forestry. They're two very, very big horses. They're about up to 16 hands, I would say. And they're both reasonably young, and they're in perfect condition, you can see. These horses are very, very well looked after. And when both of them are in, we'll fall in then and we'll fill the loads. We won't put too much up on them because this old bog is still wet enough, you know. We could still get stuck there, although we ought to have enough today now to pull it out if we do get stuck. As you can see now, we have ladies here driving this horse. She's pretty well able to handle a horse, you see. Yeah. It's awfully important that you pick the dry spot when you're coming in here with the horse. Although them horses, they nearly make their own way out, you know. They're so used to soft ground, they can feel it. Breda is a pretty good hand at driving a horse, as you can see. Right, please. Turn him around now. Right. Now we're filling, and as you can see, we have plenty of hands to fill. We wouldn't have that many in ordinary day, and it's filling up pretty good. But we were just noticing one thing here now. In the old days, the name of the owner was painted on the shaft. This was the Act of 1867.
Summary Jurisdiction Act of 1867.
Yeah.
There's no fence. It goes back to the old days, of course.
Yeah.
English laws.
Yeah.
1867.
In 1867, there was an act passed called the Summary Jurisdiction Act, and it said that every man should have his name printed on the shaft of the car. That was to make sure that the powers that be at the time knew where everybody was, much the same as at the time they had to put a name behind the backs of the doors. As you can see here now, they're clamping. You see the rails are a bit low, and to put in enough, they're casing or clamping, as they used to say in the old days. Yeah. Oh yeah, they'll fill that up too, you see, because if they didn't, you see, the side ones would fall out. Yeah. But what they used to do in the old days, you see, they'd half fill the load inside in the bog, and then they'd go out to the road and they'd top it up with what they'd have there, because the bogs would be too wet, you see, they couldn't carry out a full load. Right. This is we're filling the black horse now, and as you can see, these guys see it when we turned out back again. You see, they're trying to dodge it, but we'll have it full anyway in a few minutes. We've 15 or 16 fellas filling, so it'll be filled very early. So they're going out to the other load now. Yeah. Yeah. Right. Right, it's nearly full now. We'll ask Patrick. Patrick. Just a word now. During the war years, a lot of stuff went down to Cantor.
Oh, there was. We rented bog and hired men to cut it and save it for us.
In the war years?
And Tom Doody was my foreman, and he was called out every day like this, checking the work and etc. And the late Jim Lynch was my manager.
Yeah.
And he used to enjoy coming out. And when on our way home in the evening, of course, we get a great appetite here. We was called to Ashford.
Oh, the pub
to Madge Hennessy.
Yeah.
Being a Cantor woman.
Oh yeah.
Rahina rather. And that wouldn't do it in. We'd have to come on to Ashford in Bridge Keefe. She was formerly a butter maker. And she was, I think Jim stayed with her when he came to Cantor in 22. And in 32, sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, so he had a great affinity for those two people.
Right.
But we just mix up then with the Ashford crowd, and like Jim was great. He was a great mixture.
Yeah, yeah.
And he enjoyed it because.
Yeah. Well, the bog was in if the weather was suitable and the warm weather it was ideal.
Oh, it was. But like we used to have to buy a lot of turf, like for the two auxiliaries, Gary Duff and Bradford. And then
Are you talking Gary Duff? I have to spend the day with Jim Lynch above in Ruska, and that was by turf from a fellow by the name of Jimmy Hatton.
Yeah.
But Jim was a terrible tough character, you know, and Lynch used to name last time he gave him a fag, and he'd have it 3/4 of one side in his mouth. But he used to always say to Lynch, when they'd be looking at the turf, Lynch would say, "That's turf good, Jim." And Jim would say, "When two honest men meet, manager, 'tis as you make a deal."
The horse and cows are gone out with half loads, and they're coming in here now, and we'll top them up for the simple reason the bogs were too wet inside. And this man here now, John P. O'Connell, will tell us a thing or two about this.
Well, I suppose the year have a lot to do with it, but on where the bogs were 3 weeks ago, to surprising the way the turf has turned out since. However, the weather is favouring him at the moment, and things don't look too good. It won't be long until we get rain.
Yeah.
So they're looking to be able to get on as far as this. The horses came out now with the loads, and it was tight enough to be able to come out. They're going, but if they'll get any few showers of rain, it'll be all over.
Yeah.
Yeah, along the side of the road, you know.
Yeah, here along the side of the road now.
This turf here now is out with a bit and shaked up, and it is drying great. But we're after terrible weather with the last 2 weeks or 3 weeks, and only for that it wouldn't have come to the road at all. However, I suppose I haven't much more to say about it.
Right, but of course where we're standing now, actually we're standing in maybe a bog when there might be, would there be 10 feet of bog under us here, John?
That would, I suppose, here.
10, but you see when they made this road, they put down branches of the trees that they got out there in the forestry, and then they threw pencil down on top of them, and then more pencil, and with the travelling of the tractors, etc., you see this looks a beautiful road now. And when you consider that we're standing probably on 10 or maybe 12 or 15 sods of bog, it's quite an achievement to make a road here.
Something that people don't realise, but Patrick Milan told me, the best grouse shooting in the British Isles is here, was here, better than Scotland. Better grouse shooting in this area, but since they cultivated the bogs, it's all.
Oh yeah, well of course as you can see there now, there's very, very, very little heather. You see with the turf and with the growing up of the trees, the grouse have very, very, very little to eat. So the grouse are not extinct, but they're well on the decline in this particular area. There's a share of heather there now down below, but the grouse wouldn't stay here because, you see, so many people are in the bogs. And the grouse is a very secretive, seclusive kind of an individual who were too glad of an opportunity to dodge the school and spend the day or two footing turf, or pretending to be footing turf maybe. So Mick McQuinn here now will say a word or two.
Yeah, I did most of my turf cutting and footing down in a bog called Tursalach outside Tralee, overlooking Raymore, where the famous Moor murder was committed, in which John B. Kane's famous play was based. But we used to go to the bog that time, we used to go by bike, and you had a big climb. And the first thing you'd do after getting there was to put on the fire and make the tea, because you'd be so awake you wouldn't be able to. And you'd have to spend the day then. You'd boil the eggs in the kettle. They'd be fine and brown after the tea. You'd make the tea in the kettle as well. So everything was done inside in the kettle in the bog, and the tea in the bog, they say, was the best tea you ever drank. Yes. So then you footed it and you drew it out with a bag in your back most of the time, because you couldn't get any horse, or there was no tractors back in those years. So it was tough work, but it was an opportunity, as you say, to dodge school, Jerry.
Oh, sure, of course. Right, Jimmy Shannon here now has a word or two.
Well, we used to cut turf out here in Curtin's Bog. We used to walk out about 6 miles across the hill, and it's a tough walk all again the hill, and drag out with the horses and that. Bad weather a lot of the time, getting bogged and all that.
Yeah, but just I know they do it out with horses, but always haven't been able to travel with horse and car. They'd have to get a thing called a boat, like Santee Todd.
Yeah, pull it after with a horse, tap an old motor or something like that and pull it out. And it half dry a lot of the time.
Oh, sure, of course, of course. Yeah, but of course I suppose nowadays with the tractors and maybe small tractors with twin wheels.
Oh yes, it's made it very easy.
Yeah.
Made it very easy.
Right, Jimmy, thank you. Thank you. The horsemen are coming along here now and they're going to fill up their load, you see. They've been able to fill it inside, so they'll fill it here on the side of the road. And then when they've that done, we'll go out and make the rake outside at the end. Today now, as you can see, we have quite a lot of photographers here. This is a great, if we could develop this for tourism, etc., it would be a great advantage to the place. And we've young, we've old, everyone here, and everybody seems to enjoy it. Yeah. Tom Roach here rubbing, he's well used to horses, of course. He's able to handle a horse.
I'm very fond of horses.
You follow horses?
I did, yeah. All my life I followed horses.
Yeah. He's a grand quiet animal.
He's very quiet. He's very quiet.
Yeah.
He's a lovely horse.
Yeah.
He is.
And isn't he? He's very well cared for too.
He's very sober.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Up now here, and when they've that done, we'll go out and we'll make the rig. Right, we'll get the quite now to do the bandy field. Is that all getting a bit difficult here? Yeah. Because it's mighty soft there, you know. If you break the skin of that whole place, you go down and you stay there really, you know, and the trouble is you might injure the horse.
Yeah, and if the horses they have, they're used to that.
They're big, strong horses, you see, and they're able to pull.
If we had a flighty horse there, they start off with a sweep, he'd just
Now the wheel in this particular car, and there's a very heavy band as we can see here, but that could often give problems if it fell off. And there's a man here now that will tell us how you might go about putting it on or what you do.
Well, you would have no choice but to put it on, and you would have to put it on without any of the proper equipment. You would have nothing if it fell off here in the bog.
Get a bit of help.
You'd be lucky if we had a hammer.
Yeah.
A hammer isn't much good, but it only falls off when it is loose.
Yeah.
And when it's worn, that band won't fall off.
Yeah.
But when it's half worn.
That band chain, but look at it was hardly ever used, was it?
That have nothing to do.
Yeah.
Very little anyway.
Yeah.
But when they get worn then, the timber wears here inside in and they loosen. And
yeah.
As soon as you get one shower of rain, your wheel fall off.
Yeah.
It's down while it's dry.
Yeah.
One shower of rain after band will hop.
Yeah. And this thing here is the linchpin, of course.
That's the linchpin.
You were in serious trouble if he fell out, wasn't you?
Well, if he fell out.
The linchpin, you see, to keep in the wheel.
The wheel would fall out.
Yeah. And in soft ground you'd be in a right smear, wouldn't you?
Yeah, that's what you'd be looking for help.
Yeah.
And I didn't like now, there was no jacks or nothing else, so I need main strength.
Oh, yeah. Right. Right, thanks very much. That was Dick White there now.
In the meantime, we're not putting again.
Yeah. The man here now, what they're doing is they're, as we say, casing it or clamping it. You see, you can put on a bigger load when you clamp it like that. And some guys were very, very good at clamping, you see. Joe here now and Jerry are excellent, of course, they have their teeth worn from it. But you can put an awful lot of big load up when you have it well clamped. Pat Cotton, tell us about clamping this turf. No, Pat Cotton will tell us about
You're of no clamping, you're supposed to keep it up straight, otherwise if you
straight.
If you clamp it flat, it would fall half hours out before it reaches the road, so it's important to keep the sod straight and keep it hatchet inside.
Yeah, the sod's flat, they'll all slide out. But by keeping it partly straight, you see, you'll have you'll put out in a far bigger load and you won't have to tight it anything. But now we'll have a word with Sean. We're talking to a man there about the bands, but there's a fine set of harness in this horse. And Sean here the harness make, sorry, one second. Collars and winkers and britchings and the lot, he'll explain it.
Which one?
About the makings of these things.
Oh yes, the britching. We used to get at night. We used to make the britchings. They're 5'6" long, and stitch 4 by hand for 4 lines of stitching. We used to do that in about 4.5 hours. But I suppose if we wanted to make a britching, we'd to take about a day and a half to make it. By the time you get it out and strike it out and put it together. And then the straddle, well, we used to get the bridges from Phelan's in Newcastle. They used to make the bridges.
That's the bridge,
This is the bridge.
Oh, the bridge. That's timber, that's timber.
Yeah.
The steel plate. The steel.
No, these are different.
Yeah.
These are different.
There's steel there now that you can see it. The idea of the steel is to keep, because the chain would wear away
keep the band out.
Should wear the iron, the timber.
Yeah. Keep it out from the horse's, horse's side.
Yeah.
So we used to get those that used to advertise the man who used to make them.
Yeah.
I didn't know him. He was there before my time.
Yeah. Where would you get one of those now?
One of these straddles?
Yeah.
Unless you get them in the farmer's yard.
There's nobody making them now.
Nobody making them now.
And the collar again. How long would it take to make a collar?
Oh, I never made them, but my father used to make them. But it was a day's work to make a collar.
Yeah.
You'd make the rim first, with wheat and straw, and that was made and shaped and put aside. And you come on the following day then, and what we used to call put in the body.
Yeah.
With the straw as well. So you used to often make 3 or 4 of them together. Then you have to come on then, when the body was in.
Why does it?
You have to put in the. You have to put on the side pieces.
Yeah, sorry a second, Ocean. Sorry a second.
And it was put aside until they're dry. And you come on, then you put on the strap and you put on the buckle. And the next session then was to put on the lining.
Yeah.
This, put on the lining. And when that was on, then you had your box of hair at one side to line it with. Sometimes the farmers would bring in curdled hair, and they'd make that from the hair used to come off the cow, off the tail. Yeah. They used to wash that, and they used to make it into like a sugan.
Oh yeah.
So see, and they'd boil that, and they'd put it into a ball. They'd boil the hair that used to keep the twistiness.
Oh yeah.
So when that was dry anyway, it might take 43 weeks before it to dry out, and it was opened. You cut it in strips, and you have to tease it out with your hand.
Oh yeah.
You know, and then we had a machine that we used to put it through, and that used to open it out and make it like a sponge. So between fibre and curdled hair, that's what went into the collar.
Yeah, yeah. Right. Well, Johnny, just a second, I'll play this fella.
He's an Irish draft. I worked in the forestry with him, pulls out a lot of timber. I bought him outside in Tower, 600 quid.
He was cheap that time?
He was, yeah.
He'd be worth what today?
Oh, yeah, for forestry work now he bought about 2,000.
Would he be worth
Yeah, he would, yeah.
Of course, they're becoming a very rare.
Dad. We had a horse course last year in the forestry. We had 2 fellas from Sweden and 1 from Denmark. And them 2 horses doing a course there.
Yeah.
They had with a machine. There was a loader. The same as the old machines long ago, the mowing machine.
I know, yeah.
And there were 2 shafts in it. And there was a grab. And we could drive into the wood and pick it up inside and come out on the road and throw it out.
Yeah. They were working now double.
Double horses, double legs.
Tandem as
yes, that's right.
Yeah. And what weight would the 2?
Oh, yeah, they pulled.
You 2 horses.
They pulled the same day. They pulled about 9 ton.
Yeah.
9 ton.
Yeah, but one go, what would they pull like?
In one go?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, 5. What? 3 ton, I'd say.
3 ton.
It was 3s now brought out with him and it wouldn't awful weight.
I know that. On soft ground.
Oh, yeah, about a ton weight, I'd say.
Yeah. Yeah, that was straight pulling and
stuff. That's it, but we brought out trees now out the forest, the desperate dangerous trees.
I know, yeah.
Jimmy Haney put half No, a half ton, I'm sorry, a half ton, Jimmy Henny putting them.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But why are these becoming so scarce? These fellas are
They're not breeding them.
But they're gone in for later.
There, yeah.
What age is this fellow?
He's 80 years.
8 years. And the other one?
The other one is 12.
Yeah. You care for him very well.
Oh, yeah, I do. I give them a lot of water food in the winter.
But an average this time of year now, what would they be?
They'd be nothing this time of year on the grass.
Just grass?
That's grass, yeah.
But they must be on good ground.
Oh, yeah, they are on good ground, all right.
Right, as a man here now, it's guiding the horse. Guiding the horse was a very, very, very important thing, you see. If you weren't able to guide the horse, you could bog the horse, and also you'd make the work a lot easier on the horse if you were able to guide him properly. They say that you should give the horse his head and yet keep it firm, but not too firm. Because if you were too stiff with him, like, you wouldn't knock the best out of him. Some fellas were expert at following horses.
No. All right, I guess no.
Did you get away with it? Look, can I tell this?
Yes, you can.
I remember one day, I was maybe 3 or 4, and I wanted to go to the Commons, you see. I was stone mad to be going to the Commons with my uncle, God rest him. But my mother locked the door to the bad day and she wouldn't let me go, so I got it back turned and ran. And she ran after me, and she just saw Mary Linehan then, Mary Murphy now. She saw Mary Murphy coming around Matty's turn, and she shouted at her to stop me. She stopped me, but if she did, I gave her a leather into the shin. Right, we'll come back to that now and again. But right now we have another guide, Dennis Mulcahy. Dennis has driven everything, I suppose. This man was in the Air Force in England, and now he's driving some natural horsepower, and very well able he is. Well done, Frank, you got with a horse. A man who's drawn out quite a lot of turf with horses and with tractors actually, but he's an expert guide, I'd say.
Hold the rope.
He holds the rope not too tight and yet tight enough to keep the animal under control. He has spent a lot of time driving horses, I'd say, since he was a kid. Out over the first load. And this type of car is called a butt car. That means we can heel it. In the old days, you'd have to fire out the turf, stand into the car and fire it out. But this makes it that bit quicker. It's a tipper, we'll call it, even though we have no hydraulic rams in it, but it'll empty itself, as you can see now. That's much quicker now than having to throw it out by hand. Yeah. Yeah, that is why it's called a butt car. That was mainly used for drawing out manure and farmyard manure and things like this. Yeah, they're fixing the tailboard of it now and they have to tie it. Yeah. That's a very, very old butt car, Pat Curtin says. It says it's very, very old. It's to keep the butt from healing. Actually, it should, but it broke off, you see. That lever was the one to tip it, you see. But you see, from not being used and things like that, you see, things that go careless. Yes, but but the rope is there now to keep it from healing. And George, you were saying about this belly band here. That's to keep the car from healing, you see. If all the turf went back to the end of it, you see, the car would heal. But now with that, you see, it will prevent it from healing, you see. And this thing here is running on runners here. The idea being it makes it easier on the horse, you see. He'd be pulling off this if he hadn't the runners, understand? And the bridging, of course, is to keep his car from running out against him. Put into a reek, and it's been clamped. And as you can see now, they put down a bit of cod so that they keep it straight. Some fellas took great pride in making a reek. There was a thread in it, you see. If it would make it right, it would fall. And also if you make the rig properly, you see, it will throw the water off the turf, you see. And if you make it properly, you can put a pile of turf into a small rig. Yes, as Moss is after telling me there, you see, you must put a slope out with the sod to lead the water out. Understand? Somewhat like this, Moss, isn't it? Yeah. But if it didn't, you see, the water would go in. But if we slope it properly, the water will run off it. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, keep the... Yeah.
When the turf is to fall.
Oh yeah, wait a minute.
Keep a good heart in it.
No, right, you must keep the hard side of the side out.
The side out, the black side in other words.
Why that?
Turned out. Well, if you kept the brown side out, the rain is sticking it and it should be a waste of time.
Yeah.
But by turning the black side out, the rain won't have any effect on it.
Yes, and mustn't you give it a bit of a slope then?
No, that's what I mean, keep the heart high and a bit of a slope.
Slope the side out,
slope
to the rain.
Slope to throw off the rain, correct.
Yeah.
And you continue on that, then you come up and you stop clamping in within about 2 foot of the top.
Yeah, and
hard it in. And put a nice round top on it and you catch it in, that's about it.
Yeah. Anyway. Right? Du är med till kom. Why do you bring Patcha? Why do you bring Patcha?
No, so they will clamp
Here now we have a lady clamping. Actually, you see, in the old days, you see, the man would be drawing the turf, and the women would be at home clamping. You see, like the footing of the turf. You see, the men thought it beneath their dignity, you see, to foot turf, so they left the women at it. And pretty much Mick Maloney now is footing here alongside Mary Murphy, Neil Linehan, she's also from this area, of course. We won't have half enough of turf for the way we'll go. Wait a second now. Jim, Sloan, come on. Mick Maloney, will you tell us the story of this lawn? Right.
That lawn is 140 years old.
Sorry?
140 years.
Yeah?
Because my wife's grandfather had it first, and her father had it after that, and I was 33 years. And he got so bored and cutting turf, that the blacksmith cut that bunch off of it.
There you can get that.
There across, cut off that and that. And he welded the
disc of a plough, was it?
The disc of a plough into it.
Yeah?
And
yeah, so the late Murphy Duggan did that.
The late Murphy Duggan, yeah. He made a good job of it.
He did. You see, there was an awful trade in welding the steel.
Yeah.
And a short handle bit now, Mick.
Well, there was a long handle when they got it first, but they were done that.
Yeah, this is called a cross handle, you see.
That's a cross handle.
It makes it much easier.
You do for the tough bog. Well, if the old Bible had all the turf cut that the slot have cut, really all he needn't by no call.
Yeah. Right, thanks, Mick.
Right, sorry.
Another one coming.
Right, we're watching a man here now footing, and he's expert at it. And this is Dennis Mulcahy. And he's making a fantastic job here now of this clamping, you see. And he's sloping it right. He's making it, as he says, in the V. But he has a story to tell that's well worth listening to. He's like the Goldsmith's deserted village, you see. He's like the hare, as the hare whom hounds and hardens pursue, comes back to the place from which his first he flew. He was born and bred over there, and he travelled all over the world, and here is now footing turf. So I'll hand you over to Dennis.
Hello there.
You travelled a lot, Dennis?
I did, yeah. I travelled all over the world.
Well,
most of it anyway, unless the United States.
Yeah. You were in the British Air Force?
I was, yes. And
from there to Australia, is it?
And I was from that to Australia. I was in the Air Force for 2 years during the war.
And you weren't shot down?
No, I was on the ground all the time.
Yeah.
I stayed on the ground.
Yeah.
I was truck driver from...
Yeah, but you were truck driving in Australia?
I was, yeah.
Yeah. You were You were drawing, at one time you told me, drawing supplies to the guys building the railroad through Central Australia. Is that right?
No, it was electric lines.
Electric lines?
Yeah. We were done 500 miles of electric line.
And you would be driving along for days?
Yeah, you could decide, we should go to work in the morning. Often we went 60 and 70 miles to work in the morning. And 100 miles in the morning to work.
Yeah.
And then that'll tell you the space there was there.
It's a mighty big country, of course.
A massive country.
Yeah.
But I worked also on a farm. I worked in a sheep farm.
Yeah. Any turf in Australia?
There is. Yeah. Oh, there is.
Yeah.
Well, I was surprised to see turf in Australia, to tell you the truth.
Yeah.
I never thought there'd be turf there. Yeah. And they were cutting turf there, and of course it was a great country to dry it.
Yeah, and you were able to give them a hand to cut?
I gave them a hand, and I learned them how to cut for the side.
Right, we'll go over to Davy Killeedy. Well versed in all to do with turf. Footing, cutting, name it. Davy Killeedy. You're awfully welcome here.
Thank you.
Yeah. You spent many days in the bog?
I did indeed, hundreds of them.
Yeah. Footing and...
Potting and cutting and drying.
When you were cutting turf, it was the old traditional straight handle?
Oh, straight-handed.
You wouldn't cut it all with the cross handle?
No, for I couldn't.
Yeah. Things are somewhat easier now with the tractor to draw it out and then a machine to cut it now too.
Yes, it's a big change.
Oh, sure it is indeed. A very, very big
change.
Yeah.
He cut a lot of turf.
He cut a pile of turf. Should happen.
But I bought, where's the turf from me?
Sorry?
When I was in Askeaton, I bought turf from you.
Huh?
I bought turf from you.
Good day.
And I'll always remember one thing. Of course, I was trying to pull you back a bit, like in price. And well, without saying it in so many words, they tell you that it wasn't quite dry. But I'll always think of what you did. You took up a side of turf like that and said, handle that. That's the baking turf for you. Baking. That was the real test of turf. If they're good for baking.
Bake the bread?
Making bread. Oh yes.
Oh yeah.
They was put the hot, the lighted sods done as here on top.
They were the best for baking.
They were the best for it. But Davy anyway.
Put them up in the cupboard.
But your man related that saying many a place afterwards about the man they bought turf from. And the way you described it.
Yeah. Right,
it was very
much easier nowadays than in the old days.
Huh?
It's much easier today at the bog than in the old days.
Sure, it is only play now.
I suppose that's what the older folk would say anyway.
Oh, that's only play.
Yeah, it's the machine now, sure.
Machine now.
Yeah.
And all they have to do now is to put it in their home.
And they have the tractor to do that?
They have the tractor to do that. And they have a motor car to bring them out to it.
They don't do any walking.
Yeah. Thanks, Davy. Thanks very much.
We had to walk.
This is the second lot coming out now, and the horse has been driven by John P. O'Connell, a man very, very well versed in driving horses, although he hasn't any horse now, to the tractor he has. But are you happy with this particular horse, John?
I am. He seems to be a powerful horse. A great, quiet horse, and used to hard work.
Yeah.
A horse that shift anything you tackle him.
That's good, begad. Thank you, John. Right, Paul. Right, Jonas, no, small bit. And now is Paul Edmonds, and he's very well up on horses. He keeps quite a few horses, actually, and we'll have a word with him now about this. Right, Paul? You'll...
Whoa there.
Sorry.
All up there, whoa.
Paul, you like driving horses?
I do. I've been at it since I was a small fella.
Yeah. He's a fine horse, isn't he?
He is, he's a good horse, yeah. And this boat was restored. It was belonged to, I can mention it, Ted was belonged to Ted Murray originally.
Ted Murray McCarthy.
Ted Murray McCarthy. We bought it from Ted, and, well, we restored it to a certain extent anyway. We painted it up and did it up, so it is in great condition here now for today.
That's good, that's good. You keep two horses yourself?
We keep two horses.
Yeah.
A working horse and a half-bred hunter.
Oh, well, sure, that's great. You're well... They should never crop up now in school, I suppose. turf?
No, never, no.
Yeah.
Except I suppose that you'd be recalling it and you'd do it, you know, in a history lesson or something like that.
No guy would have a day off saying he was putting turf.
No, not anymore.
Yeah.
And they'd never tell you when they come in late that they were after the donkey all morning or anything like that anymore now.
Yeah. Thanks, Paul. Billy Duggan here.
He gave no.
Right, Billy Duggan is... Right. Billy should know a lot about horses, and we'll have a question or two for him now in a moment. Right, Billy? Billy? Yeah. Sorry, Billy? You like driving horses, I say, by the looks of things.
Well, yeah, but we were there up to Mullingo. Yeah.
Yeah. So all your people were blacksmiths, sure?
They were, yeah.
We were trying to get you on the banning of this wheel here, but we couldn't.
Well, yeah. We used to have it all chipping the bending along go, you know.
It was mighty hard work, you see.
Well, it was. Well, my job was mostly drawing water, things like that, and cooling them off. Yeah, but I see Norman getting bogged here today.
No,
the thing to do is to keep out in the horse's head when he gets bogged.
Oh, yeah, in case you do.
And try and rip what you can, you know.
Right, often happen now in the bog. As you can see here now, the band is after falling off. So what they will do is they'll throw out the load and they'll put the car up in the grass. You see, the wheel will break now if they moved it, you see. The band, as you can see there now, and what we want here now is Billy Duggan. Billy Duggan, the smith. His people were in the blacksmiths, and he would tell us what we'd have to do, but he seems to have disappeared. If they can get out the turf now... Billy is sure he will come down. Tell him come on. To get a band on the wheel now if they can. Yeah, this is a very impromptu kind of a job, you see. Some of you will think now that we did this on purpose to show that what can be done, but...
Some will take him out there now. We can't move him more.
We'll tackle the hearts anyway first.
If it's divided here from
Tackle out like wheel. Some of you will say we did this on purpose, I'm sure. But anyway, we have the turf emptied out. If we didn't empty out the turf, you see, the wheel would fall asunder. But they're going to tackle the horse here, you see. Watch them untackling. First of all, to untackle a horse, the britchin is off first. Then the belly band. Then the traces. And then they lift the... And then the horse walks out. He's a real quiet horse, as you can see. Right, right, come out here, stick a note to the back. Right, Billy Duggan will tell us how we're going to go about fixing this wheel. Right.
I'm afraid we didn't come too well prepared.
Right, Billy is going to give expert advice now on the fixing and the banding of this wheel. Right.
Yeah, what we used to do long ago, you'd have a few sections of a blade of a maul, and it would get you out of trouble when it would happen. You know, you drive that 3/4 sections.
I know, mowing bar.
Yeah, a mowing bar.
But your wedges.
That would...
What about wedges?
It could take you home, yeah.
No, wedges, no.
No, the section.
I tell you to go to the wheel, Jerry, and lay down on the flat there, and you'll get it, because there's many the one I done, and carry them over to you.
You would.
That's, actually...
This is the linchpin now.
That's the linchpin, you see, that's to keep in the wheel.
Yeah.
Nobody has the pliers or anything like...
Pliers or anything, lads, no.
No, there's the linchpin now, and here's the collars now. Ready up, Paddy? No.
Jerry.
All right, Jerry.
That's it. No. No, down the hill the road now is the best place. Down the solid road. Bring on the band there with you. I want to take you to Bring on the band now. Bring on the band now. No, we were slow from that now, Jerry, that band. What? We were slow from that band. The way you have it now. And what happened on there?
As you can see here now, we're trying to put on the band. We have to take the wheel out from under the car. And the idea is to beat it all around and to get it on evenly. This is a very impromptu kind of an operation here, but still it is good that we have mind all headed that Paddy, that's it, sorry.
Get it even now.
Oh, don't hit there.
Right? They have a fine audience now here at this particular job.
Tom, try kind of hit it out and you can drive it down like that way, look. I can't, sir. See, look. You better go down there.
Yeah, they're belting it away now, but they'll get it on all right, but the trouble is, will they come up again? Yeah.
You would know a couple of sections have we could come under the band in, and then all the journey. I'd say we'll turn it up the other way now, we'll hit the timber down gently. How we want. Nice and handy now. Mind your legs, lad. No. You see what the spokes. Take it handy now, mind the spokes, Tom. Let go.
Right, while these are at this now, we'll go up and we'll finish the clamping of the rig. Right, this axle here now, you can see where we took out the wheel. Could you tell us about the greasing of that now? Come over here, John. Mind a second.
I think you want to keep it
right.
greased. For if we don't, your axle will be wearing and it'll be screeching, so it's very important to keep greasing it. But as the saying is, at the moment, these cars are doing little or nothing, and it gets rusty and bad, and I suppose the band came off account of not doing any work for a long time.
It off is almost finished, and we would have it finished only for this little mishap we had, but it has to be finished now and it has to be topped up, and David here is coming along with another load, and that load will finish it. And David Kelly is here now, and he's going to put the finishing touches on the clamping. As you can see there now, look at the way the sod is sloping out. The idea of the slope out is to throw off the rain, as you know, and then they'll bring it up another bit, and then they'll centre of it. They'll raise the centre of it to make sure that the water will fall off. We're going to top it up now with what's here in the car, you see. And if we left it that way, it will get all wet, understand. First thing is now to raise it a certain height, and then we'll touch it. But Dennis here now, and Dave here, that... Right, Mick Cotton here and Dan Barry are going to heel out this roll load now for us. And then... Right, throw it up now, folks, for a wee penny for. Hey, John, you'll get a fleck and you know, turn around, turn around, turn around, turn around, that way, turn around.
We have David Kelly.
David Kelly here, who is top hand. Right, right, Davy. John Francis, yeah.
Fine job.
Tempo bueno. You're putting a slope there now with the sods. What's the idea of that?
Keep out the water.
To throw off the water?
Yes.
Yeah. And then when you won't carry the clamp up to the very top of it.
No, I know.
You'll have it up there.
Have it up with her.
Yeah.
Don't hit me in the hand. Over to the show.
Dennis down here is doing some fine clamping too. It's the two steps to follow. Yes. And also the block of the water will go off. And it should make a nice narrow to put the back on. Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. You can No, I'm in a bit of a hurry now to finish this because somebody said there's rain and the wind, whether there is or not. Yeah, we'll have it well finished. Yeah. We'll have it clamped okay. There'll be a couple of minutes now with all the help and everything, we'll have it all done. But where's that man gone again? Jim Mulcahy tells me here he has a story to tell.
Well, I don't know, this reminds me of the thrashing as well. You know, you happen to be in the hungry there in the bog.
You would, of course.
You know, you low crow, they might carry what you have and I think, you know. But like the thrashing, you'd meet good houses and bad houses. But on this occasion anyway, this house hadn't an awful good name. And they were going home in the evening anyway, and this old woman met him on the road, and she knew about the house as well, and said, well, how'd he get on? Oh, great, I said. And she said, they get enough to eat. And one fellow in the crowd said, to tell you the truth, he said, if that was mass, we could receive.
My family was tell him that someone would tell him to shut off the old trash and the dinner wouldn't be ready at all.
Oh, yeah.
Carry on.
Yeah. Well, I don't know, I suppose the band, there's a lot of catastrophes like this in the bog, you know.
Oh, that is of course.
You shot the tools and everything.
Yeah, we got over this difficulty anyway. A fine job now they have made of it, and if you look here now, 1 second, look here, George. See this? You see these little kippens, we'll call them. The idea of them is they'll drive them in through the turf here and there, you see, and put cords on them. First of all, they'll throw on the rushes. We have rushes here, as you can see. And some of the rushes is prepared for thatching. Look it up here, this part of it. You see here? It's been drawn there now, you see, and they'll thatch it. And when it's thatched, they'll put these in through the turf, put cords across it, just throw off the rain. Right, fine. Just chance it. Sorry. What we're doing here now is they're preparing the rushes for thatching. And what they're doing now is what they call drawing the rushes. Watch Dan Barry there now. Dan Barry, he's knocking the grass out of the rushes, you see, as you can see there now. And Dennis is at it here again. He pulls it, you see, hits it, and then knocks the grass out of it, and he has a fine job made of it.
That's it?
Yeah. Right. Billy Duggan and Paddy Fort here now are making a sugan, as you can see. Paddy is twisting it, and Billy is doing what we call feeding it. You see, they're making a sugan. Sugan, or sugan, whichever you care to call it, and see where they're at now. The rushes isn't he'd be far more suitable now. But see, it's not so easy making with the rush, but they're doing okay, like you see. They had to do this years back, you see, when they hadn't baling twine or any other kind of twine. So what they're...
That's 3 cowboys, we'll trade for it.
No, but there's to have kipping, yeah.
Yeah, kipping.
No, but you get the thing like...
a brace.
Turn it like that.
Oh, yeah.
That was 1,000.
Yeah. They have a fine sugan made there now. And after... Yeah. Yeah. Right, they have a fine sugar made there now. Pat, are we ready for touching? We're ready now for touching. Tom, a word.
Yeah. No, this rush has been pulled and the sap gone out of it. And we're going to do the touching now. It has to be put up.
You see what they're doing now is putting it up that way, and then when they'll put more on top of it. Yeah. Right? Right, Dan, no, sorry. You see what they're placing it along there now. Dan and Moss here now has more of it. That'll throw us the rain off. I say the rain will fall on that now until throw it off it. And it's well outside the turf there, as you can see. And the turf will be quite fine and secure for the winter.
All the way of doing the thing long ago, people used to have sometimes the weather was that bad they couldn't carry home the turf from there to reach it in the bog. And this is the way they used to attach it with rushes and tie her down. And it was the same at home. If you carried it home, you had to touch it as well, because there was no houses to put in there.
Houses wasn't that plentiful.
There was no house to put in there.
So they had to touch the house too.
And they had to touch the house as well. And there was no cement or nothing that time. You couldn't have no cement floor or anything, you know.
Yeah.
Mud floors there, all up around top of the hills, all mud floors.
Of course.
And it was a very handy place for to feed the cat. And so,
above the rig?
No, but in the floor.
Oh, they'll make a hole.
The hole would be there already, only to throw it up water. No, but that's the way they used to do the reeks. But we'd have a wider reach than that now, like, you know, like you could do a better job than that. I'm saying, to be a nicer job.
Yeah, right, thanks Dennis. Yeah.
One day we'll have him up here.
Dit van de stort.
Hey! Down here? Yeah. This is with the touch on, and it is a beautiful job. And now Dan Barry here and Matt Mulcahy have the sugan, and they're going to tie it with the sugan. It had to be tied with sugans in the old days because they had nothing else. And
we'll just see what happens here, no?
You see, they've kippens, we'll call them, bits of sticks. They're driven in here through the turf, you see, and then they're, as you can see there now, Moss is twisting the sugan, and that will do fine. When it's safe now for the winter.
It's safe for the winter?
Yeah. Oh, that'd be shade.
All right. Why don't it?
Yeah, I will see that.
Will
we have been done.
Pat formerly of Ashford, and he left the bog behind him and married a girl from Belleville. So he's up here today anyway to give us a hand. So come on, Pat, you're a pleasure.
Well, beautiful day, sure. Just grand turnout. And
you get many days here with your friends?
I did, give a good ideas, yes, sure. A lot of days here, yeah.
Yeah. And to delay the grant to come back again.
Yes, beautiful, come back for the day anyhow, for the evening.
Yeah. Would you follow around here a bit, you?
Well, a bit, Joe, yes.
But the grouse have gone across now?
Yes, they have gone now in extent.
Yeah. But it's great to see all the locals around.
They'll come back again.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Right, thanks,
Pat.
John. We had enough of ropes, what we call the sugans that are made by the rushes, but what we do now is we have some baling twine. And Pat Curtin here is telling you. Pat Curtin here is telling you now with baling twine. The baling twine is a much handier job, and you can tight it better too, you see. But in the old days they had no baling twine, they had to make the sugans.
And you see how he broke it there with that on your knife.
Yeah, and he was able to break it there with his hand. There's a knack in breaking the twine. Pat, you'll just know how to break this twine. There's a knack in breaking this twine.
Mike, bring the that hole. Mike McQueen. Why? Go over there and tear that down.
Look there.
You need to tear that down.
No, Brendan is...
Yeah.
Right, show us how we break this. Come on. Pat will show us how to cut this. This is mighty hard, you know, and he can break it with his hand.
That's pulling over.
Do you see the way he did it?
Right, Johnny.
I want to cut my hands. My hands are soft.
Try John here, try that here. Danny, try that here. No, bother. Can you down that head?
Sure. Take your time.
No, that's only got cut now. No, I never get cut. Jim Jordan showed me how to do that years and years ago. The old hurry answers, I was going in for a knife. Come on, don't mind your knife. So you come back here to me, I'll show you how to cut it. Don't mind your knife, fool it. I get in the first one you do, but sometimes you get in the second one now, bothering you.
Yeah, but it's not easy to cut baling twine. Baling twine is pretty strong, you see.
You could cut the finger off.
Yeah.
You could cut the finger off.
Right, cut away, lads. Come on. Come on. Talk. Talk now about what they're doing.
Oh, they're at the final stages of making the rig, or finishing the rig. They're attaching, putting on the attachers on, and they're putting on the sugan, so the wind won't blow away the cap for it. So it's the final stage of the operation for the top until such time as it'll be taken off to be taken home.
They'll put a cross sugan, do that?
Yeah, they'll probably put 2 or 3 cross sugans just to stop the wind getting under it, to lift it.
Yeah. Thanks, Frank. Just that finishing the tying of it, and it really is a fine job. That'll stay dry now for the winter. Somebody here had gloves. Who are they?
It was a great day, fabulous day altogether with all the neighbours that we know and all of us are here and met in the bog. It was great, and a lovely day as well.
Oh, so the day is really...
The day made it, it is.
Really fantastic.
Beautiful. We always enjoy the bog anyway.
Yes. Right, thanks, Kathleen. There's another lady up here. Right.
It was a beautiful day indeed, and we enjoyed it because we were well used to working across the hill here in Whites and some of the other local bogs, and it was nice to see the old traditions again with the horses and cars and the raking of the turf and thatching of it, and lovely to meet all the friends and neighbours.
Yeah, thanks, Eugene.
Standing, and there was a wonderful crowd here. Thanks for everybody for coming.
Thanks, Ida. Paddy Ford is both here now. Paddy, a word. Okay, this is Paddy here now who put on the band for us.
Well, the time I didn't many around here today I'd say knew how to make a wheel in my time. I learned my trade of the common car was all that was there that time, and the old common wheel, and of course the trap wheel as well. And to the man named Paddy Hanlon from over in Glenduff in Ballock over there that I learned my trade with Paddy. And we done many a common wheel long ago, that's all that was there that time, and there was hard work. It was only the plane and the hatchet and the chisel and the mallet. There was no electricity like now. And to make the wheel, you bought the stock below from Whelan's Newcastle West, and you had to put that up on a bench and you mortised that in, and you had an auger, and you had 12 mortises in each stock, and in the trap wheel you had 16, and you turn around anyway, and the ellum was the stock, the timber the stock was made of. When you mortised that in, you got your spokes in, and they were oak spokes then, made of oak, the timber was. And you had to mortise them in and into the stock, and hammer them in, and then you turned around and you had the tinnel at the other end, and you had that round, the 2 inches at the other end of the spoke. You came then and you got 6 fellows, they called it. They were made of ellum again. And you had to put them you got them cut out in a band saw, and you'd lay them around the wheel, and you would mark them then, and 2 spokes to every fella. And then in the middle of the back of the fella, then you made a little slot, a little with the chinning saw, and that was to take the section to join each fella as you put them on together with a section. You hammered them together, you put on them together, and your wheel was made. We cut them then over to the forge, over to Duggan's in Broadford, and more times to Cushion's here in Mount Plummer, and they banded the wheel then. And then the trap wheel was the same, only you had rubber, a channel then instead of a band on the trap wheel, and you had a rubber then, and that made it easy going then for the trap silent. So the wheel went out then in the late 50s when the rubber came on, and that finished the making of the wheel. So that's how I knew what to do with the banding of it today. Right. I done many a one. Right. So thanks very much for listening.
Thanks very much. His Ex, what do you think of the day?
It was a great day. It was a beautiful day for the job, and everything went great.
A bit different from...
A bit different, it was a bit different from my time, all right. But yeah. Still, like, it was done the very same as it was done when I was doing it.
Yeah, well, that's what was intended.
That was exactly, yeah.
Yeah. Right, Mick. Thanks a million. Joe?
Do you want to finish up the day? Do you want to finish up the day by saying
yeah, no, everyone will say what.
Yes,
the man who has from a day, he was never in the bargain hill.
Yeah. Well, this would be the traditional bog day today, in so far as the clamping of this turf and the thatching going back hundreds of years. It was a great success, great turnout, and a lot of the old rivals were here on the day for to see the thing done.
Okay, thanks, Joe. A man here now from Adare.
Well, it's a fantastic day for me to see it all, because I don't think I'd like to have been digging or doing all of this. It's a lot tougher than anything that I ever had to do, you know. So, as I said, I remember as a young lad, my uncle ran a bog up in the Midlands, but it was one of the Bournemouth bogs, and we used to drive around that in a train. We'd watch fellas doing work. We never got this close to having to do anything else. But it's great, you know, to Paddy, like, I mean, it's fantastic they organised it all to make sure we could see it, and I suppose for anybody here to learn how to do it in the past, you know, so...
Yeah, thanks a million. Pat?
I don't know, you know, I like to say this was a great year, and I would like to thank everybody that came in. That I hope they'll like what they'll see afterwards, like that. Just something that I think that anybody interested in bugs would like to see sometime.
Right, sorry. Breda Begley.
And I'm showing off George Daly's coat. I'm freezing. It was a great day. Wonderful.
Right. We have come to the end of our operations. We have we hair nested, we cut it, or we hair nested, we stripped it, then we cut it, we footed it and re-footed it, we drew it out, and now we have it into a rake and clamped, and it's cut, covered and tied. So, thank God, week is more a day, the job is well done. The only thing, there are a few missing who were here at the cutting. Paddy Keefe is one, I see him missing, and he was here at the cutting. So all in all, it has been a fantastic day, I think. So we're awfully grateful to everybody who came. Everybody enjoyed it, I think. And as somebody said there, this particular area here, we have in mind to develop it into a kind of a tourist area if we can. We're trying to get pony trekking, hiking, and a lot of other things, and I'm sure it'll be well worth it. And also, of course, we had David Kelly sitting here in the car to see he put the finishing touches clamping our rake of turf. He had vast experience at that particular job, of course. I suppose most of us here, in a way, we're connected with the bog. Some have gone away, but go back a generation or that way, I'd sure everybody here was in the bog at some stage or other. So all in all, I think it has been a fantastic day. So, got a mile mahag of Galea, agus le coon of day, Bemid, le Kela, a Reish, and Shaw, and Norwich. They're wondering what this contraption here is about. But the idea is, You see that thing there is about 10 feet high. And to spare, or to quicken up the job of loading a trailer, you'd pull the trailer in here or back it in here as the case may be. And you'd come on in from the other side, as we will see when we walk up here. With a tractor, you see, and you'd have what we call the transport box on it. You might have loose turf or you might have bags. The loose turf generally you'd have coming up here. And you'd back here then, and you'd have to be mighty careful, of course. You'd back here long, and then you'd have a guy there he'd tell you when you'd be far enough. And then you'd tip your transport box and it would flop right, the turf would go right down into the trailer, thereby sparing a pile of time. It's a great idea, really. Spare a pile of time. Some of it might fall out, but most of it would go into the trailer and you could go off for another transport box of turf and repeat the operation again. You weren't here the first evenings. We're giving a slight demonstration of how turf is cut. First of all, number one, the bank is hay-knifed. The bank is hay-knifed, and it's hay-knifed with this. This is the old style hay-knife. You see the handle is on one particular side. But then, as times went on, people got better ideas, and they've got the one with the handle at both sides. We have one below that. You see, this thing, it makes it easier. Having the handle at both sides, your full weight has gone down, and a bit has been added to the handle of that to make it easier still, you see. You don't have to bend your back that far. That's for the hay knife end. And then it's stripped or torn off with a spade out there, please. Timothy. These are a special spade, you see. The modern spade would be no good for stripping turf. These are, there's a wider mouth to it, and also you have that thing here at the back called a salmon, which makes it easier to shove it through the bog. Some of the spades then that have a V here in front, that one hasn't got it. You see, if with the V it makes it that bit easier still. These were made by a smith. There was a guy out there in Mount Collins, and he made a pile of them. His name was Bill Phil, what, I don't know. Bill Phil, Flanagan was it? Or Connell, I'd say. Connell, Bill Phil. And he made umpteen spades. Now we come to the cutting of it. Mick here is cutting with what we call a cross-handle slan. And Dan is piking with a 3-pound pike. The idea of the 3-pound pike is he won't break any of the sodges here. And Brendan is outside here, also with his 3-pound pike, and he is breaching, we call it, or spreading, we call it here around. Right, this is another type of spade, slan now. This is a straight handle slan.
That slan now was there before the cross handle slan.
Right, Pat?
And they were very hard to work on. You became this sideways working that slan now, whereas this slan, you're dead centre.
Yeah.
It's a lot easier to work that slan out than this one. But the old people wouldn't work any slan, only that.
Like, I'd be low down with Davy Killeedy, the old man who did the clamping. He would work nothing, only that. But once again now, Mick, you cut off with one of them, I
did, yeah.
Which you prefer?
The cross handle. It's a lot easier to cut it with it. You have more power in it, like. And you'll get no blisters on your hands from this one anyway.
Oh, I know that.
But you will from that one.
According with this, you see, you're one shoulder higher than the other.
Yeah, I'm cut it.
Right, we'll try you, sure. If you watch him now, the way he's cutting, you see he's not a thief, what we might call his ease too. You see, one shoulder is down and another up, whereas with the cross-handle slan, he's more at his ease, if you could say that a man at cutting turf is at his ease, but...
There's no easy way here.
Yeah.
No easy way here, Johnny.
Right, we have...
Any other one want to cut?
Mike McQueen, Mike, come on.
Mike.
Come on, Bill, we'll see you. Get a different crew from Freddie.
Timothy, here you are, Timothy. Sorry? Now, cutting the turf, we have Michael McQueen. He gave us a little talk earlier. He said his first experience of cutting turf was back around Tralee. You remember the old verse of the song? It went like, what was this it was? 'Twas a pity to see a fine strapping lad cutting turf near Tralee. And that fella joined the British Army, I think. Well, Mick didn't join the British Army, but he joined our local Gardaí, so he did better work, I'm sure. Brendan is here now. Now we have cutting. Sorry, we have Tony Tracy from Madeira now cutting the turf.
And he's never done it before.
Never done it before. Right, give it a little stab. A little, Tony, give it a little stab, you see. He's doing all right now. He's doing all right. Brendan says he's not cutting it even, you see. Brendan is an expert on turf, you see. You must cut every sod the same size, you see, to qualify for the union of turf cutters. So, Tony is cutting away here now. Right, cutting. A guy that needs no introduction to his lawn. He has cut quite a lot of turf, even though still a very young man, of course. He has cut lots and lots and lots of it. Small fella, he might get a pad, the pike, shove him back a small bit there, please. Timothy's doing a grand job outside here, as you can see now. He's... Right.
Johnny, what do you have for recording? Look the pad.
George is going to use the old type slan, with a straight handle slan. And we made him take off his coat, etc., because, you see, the looks are part of the work. There was an old Irish saying which went, Unkasulukt lana hibre, which means if we look the part, it's half it. But you know what it is? He's well able to cut turf, I'll tell you that. He's mighty well able to cut. Brendan is getting tired, he says. Right. Right, John. We have a change of operator now with John Pierre O'Connell, a man who needs no introduction to this lawn. Brendan is still here piking, throwing it out, and Dan Barry is spreading it, as we say. John is well used to cutting turf, of course, and he prefers the cross-handle slan to the straight-handle slan. John Elligan now. John Elligan now will have a go. Yeah. Sorry. Paul Edmonds. Yeah. Sorry. Now we have John Elligan is now cutting a bit. Joe cut turf before, I'd say, all right. Right, that John. John?
God help us. Where's Aiden the girls left us, Mike?
Oh, Joe is well able to cut turf, as we see here. Is he going too fast, Brendan?
Under the stage, I'm afraid you could throw the to him as Dan Connell said. Oh, we'll give some other man a
Mass.
Jim.
Come on.
One Mass.
I know, oh, he is. Mass Murphy from Glanton. Jim Mulcahy here inside in the back hall throwing it out. Dan Barry is levelling it outside here under the directorship of Peter Begley. Wait a minute, Frank. We'll have Frank next now. No. Piking away. Are you getting tired, Jim? No. Frank Reid is now cutting it. And he isn't too bad either. You must cut it even, Frank. You must go even, Frank. You're not going.
You must go down it.
No. You're only bringing up more if we go down. Well, it depends on how far down you go, you see.
Frank, give Liam a go here. After this one.
Liam Kelly.
Frank, give Liam a go here.
Wait a minute now. Frank got tired, so we're putting Liam Kelly at it, his neighbour. Liam is cutting a very small turf. Of course, Liam likes to have it dry, I'd say, you know. The smaller you cut it, the quicker you'll have it out, you see. And that's why Liam is cutting it so small. I wonder, would we try one of the women cutting? We'll try one of the women. Right, Pete, cut. Okay.
Put into the thing, David.
Martin Tracy is there now cutting more turf.
Okay, Martin. This will be going cheap.
Yes, that'll be going cheap. Right.
That is okay, no, Martin.
No.
Sorry.
Sorry.
That's fine. John, handle us on that then.
We have Breda Begley here on this lawn. Ita Milan in the back hall trying it out. And here we have Kit Sheehan outside here levelling it. And a fine job she's making, surely. They're well able to cut turf.
We'll cut you off the side next year.
Definitely. Breda is cutting, Ita is trying it out the back hall, and Kit is outside here levelling it. Ita is still spreading, and Kathleen Kelly is above the bank levelling it. That's called breaching, they call it in some... Yeah. They're going nicely too. Ita's keeping it thrown out well. Patty's well able to cut turf. You needn't ask, he's well able. And the two women are well able to do their job too. Yeah. That's going fine now. Right, Moss, are you going to cut a bit, Moss? Moss Mulcahy. Sean Begley is in the back hall throwing it out, and Breda is outside levelling it. 3 experts now at the job.
No, from the wrong way. Sean Begley, you're from the wrong way. Come around the other way.
I'll get it onto the big tape so you can stick it into
This is going fine now. We have 3 experts on the job. Is there any other... What shall we... Now we've a change in the team again. Danny Barry is cutting. Sean Connell is in the back hall trying it out. And... Ita Lacey's outside here spreading it. And I go carry on, Dan. Right, Jim Mulcahy, your opinion, please.
They're doing an excellent job now, and it's the way it was done years ago, and it was a compulsory item in any house long ago, because everybody had to have turf, because there was no oil, there was nothing available, only turf that time.
Yes.
And this is the old tradition, the way it was done, going back in the Warriors.
Yes, thanks, Jim.
Yeah.
Most areas now they do the turf, of course, with the machines. But here, today, we're trying to keep alive the old custom, even though it might... A lot of hard work involved in it, of course. Right, we've come to the end of the bank, and we're also, I suppose, at the end of the day. So, until we meet again, I suppose, we'll say, good day, Shifslan. It's go merry mead bio, ag an sha a reish. Ta sulagum, gur vinchif tanev múras an la untag sha. Agus bebin dar as a reish, kun trial ella a vint as an bint na mona, mar a vinchi reis an can aimse. So, gur ev mila maha give galea, the gok dinner I have a garan mon, a vieg pikalan mon, a vieg kanukat na mona, agus vieg dena van kruk mona. Slán, agus benacht, de gach dinne, agus go déir sif slán, is go merimid bio, ag an amse a réis, con tríl eile a vint, as, lá, sa, portak. Go raibh míle maith agad go léir.
And let's see the Texan below.
Sure. Just near some willows.
Still bitching then, look.
Yeah.
Hold that a minute.
Yeah?
Yeah? Isn't that a lovely scenery around the trees and all? Look at the man with the tractor they're tucked in. That's the modern wedding. You get a good size load of furniture. In the bag.
Before we finish this film, I'd like to thank a few people. First, the two landowners, Paddy Curtin and John Yelgan. They gave great help. Our cameraman, George Daly, Newcastle West, and his co-partner, Jerry Ford. Jerry O'Shea for bringing his two great horses. Paddy Linhan, Billy Danher for helping to make the reel. And to the 95-year-old Davy Kelly who finished that reel. I'd like to mention a few great slalomsmen in my time. Men like the great Martin Linhan, Peter Walsh Abbeyfield, Mick Callahan, Sean Barry, Mick Maney, Jack and Mick Larry Curtin, two of the finest men ever. Willie Brother, Moss Nelligan, Joe's brother in America, Patcho Linhan, and last but not least, the greatest of them all, the one and only Mick Dooley. I'd like to thank Paul Edmonds for his butt car, and also to John Yelligan for bringing his butt car. Sinna bhfuil agus tá anna buchas le gach aine, go dtí an bliain nó go seacht, ní lach a gomsa a rá, slán agus bannaigh óibh go léir.